Hey everyone, this is Rob,
Hey, Michelle.
and welcome to Bunebape, your weekly podcast and everything you need to know about old school RuneScape.
Meet Merp.
Memer. All right, so this week up on the docket, we actually have a ton of stuff to
So
go
much
over.
stuff.
Yeah, a lot. Also, if I sound tired, I am. So energy might be low for me, but there is a lot to go over. So I'm in it for the long haul.
You sounded so sad. You said, I'm in for the long haul.
Yeah.
Tears in his eyes.
There is not a lot this week, actually, but we do have a ton of stuff from the Runefest, which just happened over the weekend over in Birmingham.
Yeah, a bunch of announcements.
So, yeah, a ton of stuff that we are going to be talking about. Also, there's a cat in my lap, so
Just a goose. It's actually not a cat, it's a goose.
it's a goose. So we will be talking about all of that stuff, including multiple new bosses, expansions, as well as a
Alphas.
new skill.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about all that, as well as the roadmap for the summit and everything in between. So that'll be really cool. And then we'll be ending off with our actual update, which will be very brief. And then, of course, as always, our questions and answers. So if anyone has any questions relating to the roadmap or anything like that, other games, real life, anything, feel free to ask us on any of our socials, which will be down below, or on Spotify would be great as well. Feel free to join the discord.gg/Bunebape. We have a questions section there as well.
Cool.
But before we get into all that cool stuff, Michelle, how's it going?
It's going good. I've just been working on random CAs and playing Skyrim. Thankfully, I don't have much going on in my account because I totally forgot this is gonna be like a 7-hour long episode.
Yeah,
I'm exaggerating, but there's a lot. So thankfully not much. That's pretty much it. Just working CAs.
There is a lot.
What have you been up to?
No skills, no drops, nothing.
No.
Oh, cool.
You really I had to call me. I haven't gotten a collection like slots in Scurry.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Thanks for that.
Nice. But you did get some CA, so that was cool.
Yeah, like 4.
Okay. Besides that, I have not been up to much. Just playing a little bit of League of Legends, a very small amount, and a little bit of Path of Exile. I'm level like 86. Haven't died yet somehow.
You're playing hardcore, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And PoE, is that the hardcore where like what do they do when you die?
If you die, you have to restart.
Isn't there one that like deletes your account?
What? No.
Never mind. I misunderstood something you told me before.
No, and like in Diablo, whenever your character dies, it just dies and you can't play it ever again.
Oh my god.
I think that's how it is. That's how it was in Diablo 3. I don't know how it is in Diablo 4. But in Path of Exile, your character dies and then goes from the hardcore league to the non-hardcore league.
Oh, kind of like how RuneScape would be then. Like you're off the high scores.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not super serious. But I mean, usually if I die, I just delete the character because there's no point.
They deserve it for being weak.
Yeah. But besides that, I actually have some stuff from this week. As you might imagine, there was some cool stuff that happened at RuneFest, including someone even they made like their own trailer for RuneFest. Also, if you hear like stuff hitting the microphone, it's because
Goose can't get comfortable. She's just walking around.
Yeah, Michelle is letting the cat hit the microphone.
It's her house.
Okay.
I'm just living in it.
Besides that, though, I think the coolest thing is probably just the top post from the last week is someone getting maxed with like a bunch of people behind them at RuneFest, including Mod Ash that was on mobile.
Cute. That's so fun.
That was pretty cool. Also, besides that, someone also got a fire cape from prison. They mentioned they had like 15 years for involuntary manslaughter. Kind of crazy.
Oh my god, that's horrifying.
Yeah, kind of insane, but it was cool that they were able to play while in prison. They said that's pretty much all they do. And I also, if anyone did watch, I want to know what you thought about Josh Strife Hayes hosting the stream for RuneFest. I thought he did a really good job.
Oh, I thought that was like the announcer person. Those are two different people.
Yeah, no, two different people.
Okay. I watched some of his stuff, but honestly, I forgot that it was Runefest, and I was laying in bed for an hour playing games. And then whenever I came out, I was like, "Wait, what are you watching?"
Yeah.
And I've been playing games actually. I was just scrolling, so I missed some of the announcements, and I missed a lot of him talking. But I was there for like Golden Gnomes and for some of the stuff. I miss Mod Ash playing the violin though.
Mod Ash did play the violin.
I missed that.
Yeah.
I slept through it like a fool.
Yeah, Michelle actually missed a lot.
I think I really did.
I mean,
I forgot.
I was watching it for 2 hours before she woke up.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's
Did you
how
start
much.
at the beginning?
That's how much longer you wake up after me.
Okay.
On the weekends.
Brag. Anyway, any other announcements before we get into it?
No, I was trying to find the person that made the RuneScape. They made a RuneScape trailer for Runefest. It was their first ever Runefest, and I wanted to shout them out, but I can't find them.
Oh.
It was one of the top posts on the subreddit. So
We do record every 2 days, so if he finds it, he'll shout it out.
yeah, if I find it, I'll shout it out. But I did think it was really cool that someone made a trailer for it. They had, you know, like kind of like a bunch of highlights and like people in
That's so cute.
cosplay and stuff, and it was actually really well done.
Dude, some of the cosplays were crazy.
Yeah,
My Scariest wouldn't have stood a chance.
yeah.
They were really good.
Besides that, though, rest in peace to the collection log plugin.
Oh yeah, it's not relevant anymore. Did they get rid of it?
Yeah, no, it's not that it's not relevant. It's that the person that was maintaining it, because obviously it's code and it needs to be constantly maintained, didn't want to do it anymore. And they didn't think that they did a really good job with it anyways. And it was kind of like sluggish and didn't work all the time.
Honestly,
and,
they don't need to because the update.
yeah, and they didn't want to constantly update it going forward. So they ended up just kind of abandoning the project.
They're
So
honestly so real for that. I would probably do that too.
yeah.
I'd be like, I'm kind of over this. Bye.
Yeah, exactly. And
So shout out to everyone who takes care of your favorite plugins because they have to go and edit that stuff all the time.
yeah, actually,
Yeah.
it is a lot of work, and it does take, I mean, actual developer hours. So that is cool. But that's pretty much all I have.
Cool.
Nothing else really in particular stood out. But there are a lot of good posts over on the subreddit if you missed the Runefest stuff.
So much Runefest stuff.
But yeah, we can jump into the summit.
Yeah, the Runefest Summit summary. So how we're going to do it is there's a lot of individual blogs. We're just going to go over the summary first, then we're going to go more in detail with the blogs afterwards because it's kind of a lot of information and I'm overwhelmed otherwise.
Yeah, everything on the summit roadmap that we're about to go over was talked about and has its own blog with at least a little bit more information in it.
Almost
except
everyone.
for one single thing, because there's nothing to announce for it really, which was Deadman.
Yeah. I don't think that one got its own blog either.
It did.
Well, they talk about it in another blog, but
Yeah. No, it got its own thing.
oh, okay.
Yeah, or at least has several paragraphs which talks about it.
We're gonna find out. Should we go through this or read it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just go through it in order, and then we'll talk about the actual blog.
And then we'll go more into the blog. It's like a topic, subtopic, and then bullet points. It's a lot going on. It's I'm organizing my head.
Yeah, I was like, you make it sound way more complicated. I'm just gonna read the banner
just
that
read it,
describes
just read
the
it.
update, and then we'll look at the blog. But anyways, the first one is gonna be the Sailing Alpha, which is actually coming out this month in March.
It was already out for Runefest attendees.
Yeah, if you were at Runefest, you got to try it out. But honestly, there isn't a lot to it because it's an alpha. For anyone that doesn't know what an alpha is, it comes out before a beta.
I thought it was the opposite.
Nope, that's funny. Yeah, it goes alpha and then beta. So alpha is just to make sure that this thing actually works the way you'd hoped it worked.
We were talking about something being an alpha before, and because I thought they were backwards, I feel like I was talking shit about it. And I was like, that's crazy that they wouldn't even do the beta, but they're just skipping the alpha. I was uninformed.
No, yeah, it's
The story of my life on this podcast. I was uninformed.
It's literally the alphabet, so it's alpha, beta.
That makes sense. Well, I was thinking it's number 1.
No.
If the alpha, it should go in the middle.
No,
So that
it's
doesn't
the
make much
process
sense,
of
does
work. So like if you were cooking, the alpha would be getting the ingredients, and then beta would be like cooking.
I tried to make a creamy pasta tonight, and it was like soup.
It was not even close to being creamy or
It
pasta.
was creamy. It was coconut milk.
Yeah.
I put too much lemon. So we're just going to get curry. I'm gonna cook.
But yeah, so this thing is going to be in play testable. It's going to be an alpha and it's going to be play testable. You can actually get into the server and try it out, but it's not going to be like you're playing sailing. It's going to be like you're logging in and you can move the boat around in a circle. You can get like the starting quest to like load up your boat, and they're just looking for feedback to see if it works on your device and if it just doesn't suck.
I mean, we're going to get into the blog. It's kind of like more than I expected.
It is.
You read from this blog. I read from the wholesaling blog, which is extremely unnecessarily long.
Yeah.
You can do a lot. You can go to islands and stuff.
Yeah, let me quickly quell whatever Michelle is hyping you guys up to. They said it will be at most 75 minutes worth of content, so not even an afternoon's worth of content.
75 you're fast.
Okay.
But you know me, that's going to take me 2 hours.
Yeah, it might take you longer, but anyways, it is not a ton of content like she may be leading you on.
But it's not nothing. Like he's leading you on.
Okay.
Somewhere in the middle.
Okay. Well, we can take a look at sailing right now.
Okay. So we want to be clear that alpha is not the final product for sailing. Turns out it comes before beta.
Yeah, typically.
Who knew? So keep that in mind. The alpha is expected to take approximately 75 minutes, like he said, and it'll be open for 1 week. They are hoping this is going to come out later this month. They do say in it later, I think. If that changes, it changes.
Yeah.
They're putting a lot of disclaimers now because they know that we'll call them out if they don't.
Yeah, I think Madalena is kind of heading this in a lot of ways, and she said that if everything goes to plan, then it'll be live later this month and released later this year if everything goes to plan.
Big if.
If not, which I mean is not unlikely, then it may be pushed back.
Yeah, which I'm not opposed to as long as it's working.
Yeah.
So, this is going to start out with Pandemonium, a new quest. Learn how to sail a boat, dock, and do more basic gameplay tasks with Pandemonium, an introductory quest for sailing. You'll also explore the Pandemonium. I hate this already. Pandemonium, a new island intended as the home port for your adventure on the high seas. You can start this quest by speaking to Will and Anne, who can be found on the docks of Port Sarum. They are a pair of salvagers in need of an extra pair of hands on their mighty salvaging vessel. Probably they're actually thieves. They're hinting that they're actually just thieves.
Oh, is that?
They say, at least that's how they describe it. The truth is a bit more complicated, but we'll let you discover that for yourself.
Oh, okay.
Right? I don't know.
No.
After completing the quest, you receive a captain's log, which you can use to track a port task and other details of life at sea. If you ever lose that, you can simply right-click the cargo hold aboard ship to claim it.
Yep.
Reclaim it.
And speaking of boats, we do have boats. Once you've completed Pandemonium, you'll get your very own raft. It's gonna be a rinky-dinky trash boat because
that's what they call me.
It's level 10. So at level 10, you'll be able to buy a small boat. So you go from raft to small boat, and in the future, you'll unlock bigger, better boats as your sailing level improves as well, and they'll naturally get bigger.
I will just say, Madalena or whoever is like in charge of this, they are spot on with all this stuff. They're putting over all these pictures, content not final. Like they know we're an insane community and we will call them out. If there's anything that gets changed, we'll be like, but that's not what the picture was.
Yeah, true.
They're on it.
I mean, it doesn't matter
watermarked
because
everything.
If it is final, like in the poll we had last week, they can change it whenever they want.
But she's on it.
True.
So you can retrieve, buy, and customize your boats by speaking to a shipwright. Like in One Piece.
You just literally spoiled it for whoever did not know that.
Oh my, I'm gonna bleep it out. I'm gonna bleep out. I'm gonna bleep out.
You
their
yourself
name.
didn't know until last week what you just said.
Somehow, everything I've seen about One Piece currently, I never noticed this person in the pictures.
Yeah.
Absolutely never.
Yeah, it's funny because there's 2 more people you also haven't really noticed.
Wait, what? I thought there was only one more. Anyway.
A shipwright. A shipwright can be found on most docks near the salvaging station, and you'll meet one during the Pandemonium quest.
Once you're on why did I just cut you off like that?
No one knows. You just want to jump in there, dude.
Well, I was just thinking about I felt embarrassed. I just shouted out the spoiler like 4 ships is in. I really will bleep it.
Yeah.
Future me bleep it.
It's literally a third of the way through the entire series. It's not like a little bit.
You know what I wanted to say? Well, it's been out for so long. They should know. Like I didn't even know 5 days ago.
That's what I said. Last week you didn't know.
Okay. Once you're on a boat, click the helm to enter navigation mode, which will lock you in place. To get your boat moving, set your sails by clicking them or using the side panel. Your boat will move forwards as long as your sails are set, and you can adjust your direction clicking on the sea. To stop your boat, you can click directly on the sails or use the side panel. You can also adjust your boat's speed through the side panel if you wish. To move in reverse, you right-click on the sail
Yeah.
to back it up.
And if you didn't know what we were talking about and you enjoy sailing / pirate themed things, then maybe you want to watch the One Piece anime.
Yes, watch One Piece if you guys don't know what we're talking about. I feel like everyone at least has heard of it.
Yeah, it's on Netflix and it's all in English, so you could just watch it.
Yeah.
Anyways, though, every 30 seconds or so, you'll notice a 10-second gust of wind around your sails. This is an opportunity to trim your sails and get a speed boost, as well as some XP. The animation will be obvious, so you have no trouble spotting it. Also, let us know if it could be even more visible, especially for anyone that is seeing impaired, especially.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any wind catcher facilities installed, you can keep your speed boosts to use at a later time. So you can straight
Can
up
you store
bottle
wind?
You can bottle wind. Okay.
Why did my demos think for a second? Can you really do this?
Yeah.
Can you store wind
You
for
can.
later?
Yeah, it's called a fan. If you don't have a wind catcher, then the speed boost will just happen automatically. And when you're ready to get off your boat, you can simply navigate to a port and click the gangplank to disembark.
Gang, gang.
If you're picking up a friend at port, then you'll find that left clicking the buoy will allow you to anchor your boat and wait for them.
Picking up your homies, your little Uber.
Yeah, just pull up with your Uber X.
Next up is ship customization. As you gain sailing levels, you'll also gain the ability to upgrade your ship. As a result, you'll be able to weather increasingly dangerous seas. Since this is just the alpha, we're not expecting you to grind for upgrade materials or even bring the tools you'll need to build them. Instead, you'll be able to obtain all the resources and tools you could possibly need in a handy chest next to the port serum notice board. When you get the materials, you can have a word with Shipwright Sam to start customizing. To upgrade your keel, hull, sail, or helm, you can use the Shipwright's custom boat option. To build a new facility on your boat, click on the gangplank at the shipyard to go over to your boat and build hotspots. It's literally exactly like construction. And is that our first preview of what it's going to look like on the skill menu?
The first one that I've noticed, they have pictures of what it'll look like with the addition of sailing in your total tab. And at the bottom, they changed what the total number looks like.
Yeah, so sailing replaced the total level, and the total level is just like a bar all the way across the bottom.
Yeah.
It looks all right.
Yeah, it's okay. But, I mean, what about 23, what is it, 2376?
I thought it was 2369. It's not. I wish it was.
What the hell?
That's math, not math.
How many skills do you think they're adding?
I don't know.
It only reduces by 100 minus 1.
So 76. 2376.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's 100 minus 1. What are you talking about? Anyways.
What's my math?
In the alpha, there's going to be a few building facilities. Obviously, not all of them. You can get a bronze salvaging hook, iron salvaging hook, wind catcher, cargo hold, oak mast, and anchor. There's also going to be buildable cannons in the sailing alpha, although you won't be able to use them in ship combat just yet, but you can get them, I guess.
Cool. Multiplayer features are still early in development, but the alpha does have something for you to try. You'll be able to join your friends' boats and make use of their facilities as you sail together. Just make sure you have the right sailing level, and you'll be able to sail and salvage shipwrecks while aboard your friends' boats.
Yep, they also have a few creative solutions for having too many ships crowding your screen. The game will render up to 25 at one time, and a new shadow will appear beneath your boat to indicate when a fellow sailor is on top of you.
That's pretty funny. What good would sailing be if you had no seals?
No seals.
Honestly, it's a good question.
What if you went sailing and there was no seals?
And there's no seals? I'm just saying if there's not seals,
they're not barking.
Membership canceled.
Like, if the seals aren't barking, what's the point?
What would you do your bark?
Okay.
What does seals sound like?
So we're turning the existing blue tiles of the world map into something extra special. So we have shallow, open, and deep seas, which we've talked about plenty in the past, and this will be represented on the world map and in-game as well. So at this time, the changes are purely cosmetic and won't affect your boat's speed, but in the future, it'll affect your boat speed with boats of different sizes being able to perform better or worse in different depths of water.
Yeah.
So typically, from what it seems like, bigger boats will be able to go into the deepest parts of the ocean unmitigated.
Or less mitigated.
Or yeah, or less mitigated, whatever that means.
Eagle-eyed explorers will notice that the coastline around Minifos is no longer a big blank hole. While we have every intention of unveiling that great city one day, TM, as the desert storyline progresses, that'd be a bit too much to bundle for now. So at the time being, they've just cleared a coast, but you're not able to dock there yet. I sometimes will like go there and I'll try to cross, and they're like, you can't cross. And I'm like, oh yeah, that still doesn't happen. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's
We're
so
never
funny.
getting that.
That reminds me of like in WoW, like in World of Warcraft, they've had plenty of expansions, right? Like over a dozen expansions. And almost not every time, but almost always they find a new area or there's new areas to explore or
That's
something.
fun.
And it's funny because it'll be like, oh, there's an island right here. You guys just didn't know, like the mist has cleared and there's an island. Like, okay, what the hell?
That's how all these islands are gonna be.
Weirdly enough, one of the only expansions that kind of made sense was the ones where you went to like the demon planes of existence, because
You've never been there before.
at least you've never been there. But every expansion after that is all like, all right, well, there's this giant island to the north.
Yeah.
Or there's like one right next to the like one of the main continents. There's two of them, and there's just a giant island right next to it.
I feel like RuneScape is fairly good at adding lore. Like I was trying to think of examples, and I was thinking like the portal to Gardens of the Rift, and I was like, no, because there was a quest to introduce it. They're pretty good at building the lore to explain stuff.
I guess so. But I was thinking about Varlamore. It's like,
No, Varlamore had lore too.
I get that there's lore, but you're telling me that gigantic island of Varlamore had never even been noticed by people that clearly have been sailing around this whole time.
I literally feel like you're not paying attention to the fact that during the quest, they're like, we've been in negotiations with them for years.
Yeah, we've just been
Just
hanging
because
out.
you were invited,
We've just
to
been
the
hanging out
negotiations.
for 12 years straight.
just because you were invited doesn't mean it didn't happen.
All right. Well, speaking of places you're not getting invited to, that's going to be the Great Conch. So
Oh, really?
if you do get invited over, which is going to be everyone in the alpha, you can sail over there, no problem. It's the home of the Tortugans.
Wait, we can go there. You were so tricky with your segues.
Yeah, didn't you
We
hear my segue?
That was not a
I
good.
said if you're in the beta or in the alpha, then you do get invited.
So
It's like she doesn't even listen.
so extra.
You'll want to keep an eye out for other points of interest at sea as well. This includes places like Last Light, Charred Island, The End Island, and Dognose Island.
I kind of wish we couldn't go to the Great Conch yet, because that's where the Tortugans are.
And that is where the Tortugans are. Yeah. Islands aren't the main focus of sailing in this alpha, at least. This is just a small taste of what will eventually become the future. They'll contain content for existing skills, feed into the reward system. Once the alpha has concluded, you can expect to hear more about the fantastic places you'll get to visit once you do unlock sailing.
Next is port task. So these are a low intensity training method that will have you sailing from port to port, assisting NPCs with various problems. Starting port task is simple. You can just head to the notice board available at most of the ports. You'll start off with 2 slots, and as you level, you'll gain more. In alpha, there are 5 ports you can take tasks from. That's the Pandemonium, Port Sarum, Catherby, Port Khazard, and Ruins of Unka. You can cancel a port task in the port task interface found in your captain's log. They also did mention before that these are repeatable and can change daily. They did design the tasks so that they would change frequently to keep things fresh without changing so often that it became frustrating. The intended loop is to plan your route once a day, while the rest of your play session
Your PlayStation? Unless
remain,
you're playing on Xbox, that is.
remain consistent. However, you raise that this approach might limit your desire to play to certain days. We completely agree, so we'll be revisiting this mechanic after the alpha. Good, because I think we talked about that. Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to
like, I
log
don't
in
love
and be
it.
like, this sucks.
I'm just not going to do it today.
That's good. Also, I was wondering.
There was one line I skipped.
Okay, what'd you skip?
For now, you can use a temporary test item called the Portmaster's Watch to magically alter the date, so you can mess around.
Oh, cool.
This sounds like it's going to be more than 75 minutes.
75 minutes.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I hope they explain why it's called the Pandemonium.
What is Pandemonium?
Pandemonium,
What does
the
it mean
word.
again?
It's a synonym for chaos. So it's like, this island better be on some like demon mode.
It's in Sharknado Central.
It's called the Pandemonium.
That's an interesting name. There'd be lore, because there's a quest they said.
Yeah, I don't know if I pulled that out of my behind, so I don't know if it's
You're
exactly
what?
synonymous for chaos, but it's in the same vein.
I'm gonna write an angry
I know.
Apple
Let me go
podcast
call
survey.
up Webster.
Who's Webster?
The dictionary.
I know, I was joking. That was just a really goofy
The
joke.
dictionary.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Anyways, if you are interested in doing other stuff though, and not the bounty board, then we have shipwreck salvaging. This is going to be the super low effort / kind of AFK activity of this. So if you're on a boring Zoom call or something, then you might want to do this. You're going to be using a salvaging hook to retrieve valuable resources and lost treasures. And yeah, it's pretty relaxed. Salvaging goes directly into your inventory, but you can choose to store it in the cargo hold by right clicking it. The basic cargo hold up to 20 items, but you can always upgrade it to get more room. Hopefully that means you'll be able to AFK for even longer.
I'm just imagining just like fishing and we would like drop stuff back into the water.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's probably just going to be literal planks or like seaweeds for like 99% of it. Most ports have their own salvaging station where you can sort your salvage loot whenever you get back to port. And instead of a light, heavy, and advanced hook, as mentioned in previous blogs, we've streamlined the design to now only offer one salvaging hook type that scales from bronze to dragon, similar to your fishing hooks, your, what's it called?
I was going to say arrows.
No, I was going to say
harpoon.
Yeah, harpoon, exactly. Thank you. In the alpha,
dragon fishing pole.
Yeah, right. In the alpha, you can upgrade it all the way to iron.
All the way? Isn't iron the second one? Or steel before iron?
It'll probably be bronze and then iron, if I had to guess.
Oh, I don't remember where steel is.
It's bronze, iron, steel, black.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All the way to the second one.
Yeah.
Sea charting. As you voyage across the seas of Gilnor, you'll find plenty of memorable locations, hidden currents, ocean depths, weather patterns, and other phenomena you'll want to note down your captain's log. This rewards your natural desire to explore and is a perfect training method for completionists. If I remember correctly, this is a one-time thing, though. You can't keep doing it.
Yeah, unless they are about to say they changed it. I was most upset that this was a one-time thing.
Because it sounds really fun.
It does.
So we don't want to spoil all the different things you can find at sea, but in the alpha, you'll be able to chart the following star zone locations. That's Bay of Sarum, Mudskipper Sound, the Firth of Lum, Bedouin Basin, and Remington Strait. Runefest attendees had a skip option on their interface, but we will not have that. We are going to have to do a mini quest called Prying Times to provide more information how to use a crowbar, which is something that we need for this.
Yeah, because you need to learn how to use a crowbar.
I'll read something else in a second, but note that most tools will only become available after you've built a cargo hold, which is where you'll also be storing them. So a list of the items in question that you're storing are Captain's Log, which is recording and documenting sea charting. It'll also tell you information about where you can chart. Spyglass, used to observe notable areas. Current Deck.
Current Duck.
The Current Duck, your little duck friend. He's going to track the currents of the sea, obviously. Crowbar, prize open crates found at sea, and you can choose if you want to drink what's inside, naturally. Upgraded diving apparatus and helmets can gather sea data after assisting mermaids. Anti-rust tonic removes rust from weather stations for the troll meteorologist. This is what I thought was funny. During the NDA playtest, we noticed that some players found the tools unintuitive. For the Sailing Alpha, we've added inspect options to every tool, and we'll be keeping a close eye on how you all get on. So that's what I thought was funny. You're like, because we don't know how to use a crowbar. And I was like, well, it turns out they didn't. Also, I remember whenever I was trying to learn web development, Robert told me something that has stuck with me, and I think that they're doing well in this blog, is you should always word things and do stuff like the dumbest person you can imagine is going to read it.
Oh, it's not...
not like that, but you know what I mean?
No, I wasn't even referencing the crowbar in a matter of like people in real life knowing how to do things, because I am sure people in real life just don't know how to do anything as far as I've experienced in real life.
Me.
But the fact that your character doesn't know how to use a crowbar, and the fact that they're the captain of a ship,
and
they've done construction as well. So it's like,
it's just a hobby they just started.
Yeah, I guess so.
Someone just gave them a boat.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. It's not a big deal. I just thought it was funny.
What was the thing you told me about like designing stuff? So like it's just the most obvious, like stuff that you basically saying stuff that you think is intuitive and so obvious, it's probably not for other people.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
probably not.
I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. And I think about that still. Whenever I'm playing Skyrim, sometimes people have to tell me stuff and they're like, yeah, you're supposed to just know. And I'm like, I would have never tried that in my life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of like for anything. It's like if you know how something is used, you can obviously see how it would be used.
Yeah. And you just
But
assume everyone else would, but it's not always the case.
so jumping into the Barracuda trials, this is going to be the next and I think last thing that you can check out pretty much. And it's going to be the sailing speedrunner adventure thing. So this fast-paced active training method will see you push the limits of your navigation skills across a series of trials. You need to navigate obstacles and complete challenges as quickly and efficiently as possible. For anyone thinking that this is only going to be sailing and boat racing, the trials are actually you getting off your boat to do things.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like remember last time whenever we were talking about this, included in the boat trial was you going to an island, getting off and getting a certain type of rum, and then getting back onto your boat to go to the next island to do something else.
I will say, as someone who is not really into it, this sounds like it'd be fun for speedrunning.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
But if you do beat their time, then you will be rewarded with a one-time sailing-related reward. Each completion, regardless of your time, will award sailing XP. And you will get the seasoned Barracuda, who functions as a starting point and record holder for the trial.
Oh, just an NPC.
Yeah, just an NPC. Initially, they planned on the Barracuda trials being instanced, but during development, we realized that this activity functions perfectly well in the existing world. So you'll be able to see other players while you do this.
Fun.
The Temper Tantrum, which is kind of like the Tiny Tempor Tantrum, is our first Barracuda trial aimed at players with level 30 sailing or above. So at least you'll be able to get to 30 sailing because I'm assuming you're going to be able to do this in the alpha.
75 minutes?
I don't know. Sail towards the coast of Temperous Cove, where the titular Titan is raging. Why do they have to use this type of language? Just, you're going to be sailing towards Temperos. The Barracudas are challenging fledgling sailors to ferry shipments destined for the pandemonium through the storm. Trial Master Rum Dash Ralph has all the information you need.
Trial Master Rum Dashed Ralph sounds like he has a drinking problem.
Yeah. It even says here, on the way, you can also pick up lost supplies, which will add to your total score at the end. Use Blue Rapids to gain a speed boost and different things included in the trial to
the more you
give
speed
more
over,
points.
the faster you'll go. That reminds me of like Mario Kart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just
fun.
like a lot of racing games.
Yeah.
Arcade racing games. This isn't no Forza. But so that is it. Essentially, just go for the fastest top speed that you can get and you'll get a higher rank. And speaking of ranks, that is the last thing you can look forward to.
Yeah, so we haven't added any rewards to Sailing Alpha, but you can flex your achievements by earning top ranks in the Barracuda Triangles. These are earned by completing the trial in under 5 minutes. The Swordfish rank is similar to Bronze and requires a total of 14 lost supplies. Shark is the next highest and requires 25 lost supplies. Highest rank that you can get is Marlin at 36 lost supplies.
Are you going to go for the shark rank?
Don't call it that. I'm gonna go for the Marlin, obviously.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I looked over and Moose's just watching us and he was about to meow and he just like opened up his mouth and just closed it. He was like, haha.
He's a good cat.
He's a really good cat. Anyway, which paragraph was I on?
You're right here. When the Sailing Alpha goes live.
Thank you. When it goes live, we'll have an in-game survey to collect feedback. We really encourage all of you to fill it out, as it'll be the best way to have your voice heard by the development team. If you're going to do the alpha, you might as well do the feedback. Otherwise, there's kind of no point of doing the alpha.
Yeah.
Is that a hater take?
I mean, yeah, unless you have no feedback.
Yeah, okay, not...
If you play the whole thing and you're like, I literally have no feedback, like I don't...
Or if you're like, I hate this, but I'm not going to say anything.
I don't think when I play games, then don't. But if you're like, oh, this part sucked, then maybe tell them that it sucked and why you hated it.
So we hope you're excited to get your hands on a primary gameplay, the navigation system, all the other sailing activities, yada yada. This is just a very small taste of what we're going to get. There's so much stuff. There's like crewmates, bajillion islands, all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Hopefully a Tortuga pet.
And actual combat and stuff like that, which we won't get really to test at all.
Yeah. Do you think that they'll add a moose in honor of his...
In honor of our cat, for anyone that doesn't
him.
know the moose.
Yeah, he's a cutie. They should add a little cat named Moose.
Yeah, so that's it. So
in a podcast?
it sounds pretty good.
I am optimistic. I
Yeah.
think. You know what's funny is that people were able to play this at Runefest. I did not hear anything about it,
Yeah.
which is good and bad. I haven't heard anything bad.
If you do go on the subreddit, there is a video of someone that like took a video on their phone while they played it or while their friend played it. And so you can kind of get a look at what you can expect in the alpha. It's not a ton of content, like I said.
They make it sound like so much when they
They
list
do
it.
make it sound like a lot. I don't know how it is. I wonder
Maybe
if
it's
it
just
is.
like small versions of everything.
Maybe the average player will get through it in like 2 hours, but
I don't see myself being done in 75 minutes.
yeah,
if I'm doing
75
everything.
minutes does seem a little fast.
75 to get to level 30 of any skill seems kind of optimistic.
Maybe it's boosted.
Could be boosted.
Yeah.
Next up on the roadmap is Yama, an endgame duo boss fight that's coming out in spring. So this is an endgame boss with a duo team focus, aspirational challenges, and new best in slot rewards.
That's kind of a little misleading, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of buildup. If you want to read the lore, you can.
Yeah.
I'll leave that up to you.
Anyways, I will be spoiling the theme of the boss in that Yama is a master of contracts. He is kind of like literally Satan.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, he is
You're making a deal with the devil.
he is
for better
he is a
loot.
satyr, right? So he's a hoofed horned beast,
Is that?
right? And he makes
Satyr, Satan.
contracts.
Is that why the devil has hoofs?
He makes contracts. Like, I don't know how this isn't exactly Satan, but anyways, this
All
is
the ex-Mormons are gonna lose their marbles.
and if you look at the art for Yama,
He's a demon.
he is a demon in a realm that is all red and black. So they don't have any pictures here, but they showed it at the actual Runefest, and that's what we saw. So don't know how this wouldn't be the case. But
I think that there's more pictures of them in the main blog. We're just in like the specific Yama blog currently.
yeah, in the specific Yama blog, they do ask this. There is a poll question here randomly, and it says, should we add this duo focused endgame boss? And the rewards will come at a later date. And, or at least the poll for the rewards. We are going to be talking about the rewards though. They don't really talk pretty much anything about the technical stuff of the boss, like
Yeah,
how
it's
you'll,
in-game content. They want you to be surprised.
yeah, they don't talk about what you might expect besides some good old fashioned fireballs and stuff like that. So we really are just going to be talking about the rewards.
Cool. First up is the Death Charge upgrade. So the Arcade Spellbook contains little more than party tricks for Yama. He's taking upon himself to elevate some spells to new heights. If you're lucky, you could snag a page out of his Garangatang grimoire and put some of his forbidden knowledge to use. For the average magic user, converting a slain foe into special attack energy is as draining as it is morbid. So with the right technique, there is room for more juice. This upgrade would permanently buff your death charge, allowing you to gain special attack energy from 2 enemies per cast rather than just 1.
Yes.
As it is now, you get 1 and then you have to wait another minute.
Yeah.
It's kind of annoying.
And for anyone wondering why it might in particular be the RKS spellbook that's getting these buffs is because this is going to
it's an
be
Arceus.
in the Chasm of Fire. We kind of did jump over that. And not only that, it was mentioned that you do have to have the Pinnacle quest for Corinne completed in order to actually do this boss.
Oh, Kingdom Invited?
Kingdom Divided,
Yeah.
yes. So
I mean, that makes sense.
there is some fairly high requirements for this boss, but it is an extremely endgame boss, so it makes sense. And the next thing we have for rewards is going to be the Surge Potion.
We love Twinkies.
Yeah, like all good demons, Yama drops a strange piece of himself.
They just be doing that, bro.
They do.
All the time.
So some demonic tallow, which is
What's tallow? Fat?
fat.
Ew, how does it fall?
No one knows.
Just like-
He's a demon. That it can be extracted.
Ugh.
So these tradable organs can be used to make a brand new potion, boasting an effect never before seen in old school. These potions have a hefty herb lore requirement of 81. If you use the demonic tallow and a Torstol, or obviously an unfinished Torstol potion, you'll make a surge potion for yourself. Once every 5 minutes, you can take a sip from an adrenaline potion to restore 25% of your special attack energy. We imagine this will come in handy during enraged phases, clutch moments on low HP, and speedrunning. Or you can simply use it to give yourself a defense reducing special attack at the start of every kill.
I'm interested to hear people's thoughts on this if you guys have opinions. I haven't read anyone else's. So I
Yeah.
feel like some people would probably be upset about this.
It's
It's not that good because it's every 5 minutes.
It will definitely change metas.
Yeah, because now you're gonna be timing everything so specifically.
A lot of the things that this boss drops will be changing metas.
Which, I mean, to be fair, it's an in-game boss, so I can't complain.
Yes. Unfortunately, these potions are untradeable.
Oh,
Just
so
so
you
everyone
actually
knows.
have to do it.
It'll also require a drop of your own blood, but I mean, whatever.
It's just 99 hit points.
Everything else is going to be tradable except for the finished potion itself. So you have to have 81 herb lore in order to actually possess and use this potion.
I hot take potentially like that because this is pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I kind of
You can still buy the tallow, I'm assuming.
Yeah, exactly. You can buy all the components. So I always thought it was kind of lame that you can get like stamina potions at level 1.
Yeah.
Like you just
when you have a main account, you just buy them immediately.
Like that's just an example, but like things like that, you can get super combat potions from level 1. It's like, come on.
Well, you're an iron.
But yeah, as an iron, I think that should
of course you think that.
I think that should just make herb lore make more sense because like I think you should be able to get like venom stuff way earlier. That's like one of the biggest, most annoying walls for an iron is the fact that in order to do the grind that'll get you the anti-venom potions, you have to be an extremely high herb lore level and you have to do a boss that venoms you.
I hated getting venomed in leagues. It was like the most tilting thing.
Yeah, it is very annoying.
It's very frustrating. Even in leagues, which is super busted.
That's a total herb lore aside. But yeah, this is 81 herb lore. So not even actually that high. 81 is not that high. I think in order to get anti-venom, it's like 87 or something crazy.
Something crazy like that, yeah.
Or maybe 93.
Next up is the Cosmic Catalyst. So if you've ever spent minutes staring at the bank figuring which runes to take out to cast everything you need from the Arcade Spellbook, then you'll love this one. I specifically read that because that was me last night. I don't know if you saw. I was at my bank for 5 minutes getting runes, and someone was even like, what are you grabbing? You have like 12 runes.
Yeah.
I think it was just a bunch of random stuff I didn't need.
People aren't super... I mean, most people aren't familiar with all the stuff that you need for Cosmic or for Arceus spells.
I'm not familiar with anything, to be honest. Thank God for the rune pouch loadouts now.
Yeah.
But they're not enough if you want to, because I wanted to do spellbook swap and stuff.
It's pretty easy to remember like the 3 or 4 like combo runes in order to like pretty much use every spell in standard, but it's just not as, you just don't use Arceus as much.
So now you might be using it more. As long as you have 90 rune crafting, you'll be able to combine cosmic and soul runes into a cosmic soul runes. Whose name shows us pushing our creativity to its limits.
Yeah.
And you'll make those using the Cosmic Catalyst, our tradable stackable drops from Yama, and you can make the combo runes.
True.
I like that.
Yeah.
I love a combo rune. Is that the first that we're getting a combo catalytic?
Catalytic?
No, elemental and
catalytic.
Is that the first combo one?
I
think it must be.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. I like it. I like the name too.
The next one they need to do is
Cosmic Soul.
I don't even know what they would
Blood
do.
And Death.
No, because if you're using blood, you're not using death.
No, you do for ancient spells.
Oh, do you? Oh, sure. For burst and barrage and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay.
Bloody Skull. I don't know. That's what it would look like.
Wow. Yeah. Cool. Bloody Death.
They should hire me to be on their naming rune. Maybe.
The next reward is it's called Abyssal. It's called Abyssal Worms.
And it's just a picture of me.
Yeah. So being the master of packs isn't all brimstone and bureaucracy. It's hungry work and occasionally indulging in a hobby or two. Should you prove successful in your battle with Yama, you might earn yourself a handful of Abyssal Worms. These worms will increase the rate at which you catch anglerfish, handy for topping up those supplies for another day of dueling demons.
Catching anglerfish is so freaking slow.
Bro, that's cool, but honestly, who cares? This is such a dumb reward. If you're not an Iron Man, you're buying these.
Listen, it's not a good reward, but at the same time, it is really slow catching them, so I'm not mad at the reward.
The thing is, most irons, I think, will agree that if you do decide to go catch anglers, you catch like 1,000. only use it for overhealing before you go to do very particular content, and then you never go there again.
Why you just buy more at the GE?
Exactly. If you're a main, you're just going to buy it. Like, this is useless.
Anyway, next is equipment rewards. So since it's an endgame duo boss, we have 2 unique rewards, a brand new armor set, and a unique team-oriented special attack weapon.
Yeah, that's why I kind of was like...
back to the worms? He's not done with the worms.
No. It's a little misleading that they say this boss drops best in slot stuff, because they technically don't.
A tie.
They technically don't. But,
yeah, you want to explain that further? I thought you were going to talk about the worms more.
So, because this is a duo boss, they have 2 unique rewards, like you said. And the first one is going to be Soul Armor. This is a side grade to Torva. So, it's
cool.
They say it's a side grade, but really it's kind of just an upgrade. But,
well, depending where you use it.
Yeah, you're actually going to get reduced max hit more than likely if you do take this. So, it is a nerf, unless the enemy has high defense, because this will give you more slash accuracy than Torva. That's what they mean by side grade. You're going to get 7 less melee strength, even though it says 6 whenever they compare it. So I don't know which one to believe. I'm not doing the math.
It's going to be one of those things where in some situations you'll still take Torva.
Yeah, exactly. So you're getting less melee strength, 6 or 7, whatever it is. And then you're getting plus 38 slash attack.
It's the new top set.
Obviously a lot higher accuracy, so yeah, maybe you'll use it at Tob if you feel like you're missing. I mean, obviously everyone's gonna put these in the DPS calculator and find out which one is best for the content they're doing.
Don't trust my judgment. I have no idea.
Yeah, so if like you are doing whatever boss like Nightmare or something, and that maybe Nightmare does have really high slash defense, I don't know, but then maybe you'll bring this there. But make sure to do the DPS calculation first.
Yeah, it has some estimations on here. So where it will do worse is magic attack and range attacks, duh. Stab defense -33, crush defense -40. So not really good at No Nightmare, you use crush.
Yeah, it really depends. You're going to get reduced everything, way less range defense, way less crush defense, but randomly you'll get higher slash defense, higher magic defense. Everything else is negative though.
Weird.
So it's just...
I mean, and the slash attack's huge.
You're going to be getting hit more than likely. You'll be getting hit more often.
But you'll hit harder.
But you'll hit more frequently.
Depending on the situation.
Okay. No, you'll just be straight up hitting more frequently because it's more accuracy, but it's at the behest and, sacrificing of damage. So I could give you all these numbers, but really...
We'll see if it even gets approved first, to be honest.
This is, again, extremely high level gear. It is a side grade to Torva.
I'm not going to afford this for a long time.
If you're not at Torva level, then this kind of doesn't matter to you a lot. But that being said, this armor will be much, in my brief opinion of reading this, it'll be much more obtainable than Torva.
Well, that's because next sucks.
No, that's because there's going to be multiple ways to get this armor.
Yeah. Before I move on to that, though, there are probably a few of you upset that you can't flex your blood Torva as much, but the soul armor will have its own cosmetic variant. This flashier version will be obtained through a contract, a deal with the devil, if you will, with Yama to a level truly deserving its own cosmetic, but that's all the detail you get for now. So basically, awaken Yama.
Yeah. So once you fight,
what if I have to do as a duo? Hopefully not to get that, because then you have to rely on someone else.
Probably. Yeah.
Next up is the Soul Flame Horn.
This is by far, I don't know how this could be a more controversial item.
I kind of like it. I don't know.
I haven't even looked and seen what people think about this item. I just immediately imagine it being extremely controversial.
So this is specifically for group content. It's going to spice up on how you tackle group content. To be clear, this is not something that's required for every group fight from now until the end of time. It kind of sounds like it's highly recommended.
Yeah.
We don't want anyone thinking they can't hang out with their friends because they don't have it yet. So, well, its stats aren't much. The Soul Flame Horn boasts a unique special attack. So this is 25% of the special. Should be 100. Of how good it is.
Maybe.
Your closest allies within 2 tiles have the accuracy of their next melee attack, including special attacks, within the next 6 seconds increased by 100%. If the target's an NPC, the boosted attack always hits. Applying this effect to an ally will also apply it to you. Costs 25% special attack.
I'm
Oh, per player affected. There we go.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that this is an offhand.
They don't say where it is.
It doesn't say though.
I think
And
it would
it does
be.
have a magic requirement to even wield it.
I feel like it would be an offhand. Maybe they do say in word is silly. I don't know. No, they don't.
No, I don't. I mean, I imagine it's not a main hand, but I guess it could be.
Yeah. So I mean, definitely must be controversial, right?
I feel like it has to be.
It has to be. I don't know. That'd be
'Cause
funny if we
this
looked
will-
and everyone's like, yeah, I like him.
This will be the first ever true support weapon in the game.
That's kind of cool. We don't have really support stuff.
The
that
only
much.
other support stuff is
Heal other, avenge other.
yeah, heal other, venge other, stuff like that. So as far as I know, this is the first actual support item, and it'll give you a 100% accuracy on your spec, your melee spec. So if I immediately think if you, a friend, maybe one other person, so that's 75 special attack. I don't know the requirement for special attack on all the items, but I imagine if you use it,
And then you can
and
use a DDS.
if you're using a
For
group of
25.
4, you're not the one specking, obviously. If you're using a group of 4, 3 other players are going to be able to get guaranteed Elder Maul specs.
Dude, people are definitely going to be using this like crazy. I don't know if this will get added.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it getting added, personally. I think. I don't know.
I don't know. 'Cause
Sometimes I'd be saying that, and then people are so against it. I'm like, wow, maybe I'm not okay with it.
I mean, depending on the content, I can't imagine this not being a requirement by one of the players.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine starting a fight and just guaranteeing the mob has 0 defense.
As long as you do within 6 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Yeah, it seems very, very strong.
Yeah, they even say, we're sure you have lots to say about us. It's something they've never tried before. So let them know what you think if you hate this or if you love it.
Yeah, especially with, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It will be. I wonder if you
It's
can use it on
in-game.
yourself.
I think it's...
It says the closest.
No,
ally.
it's allies only, so it's not you.
Yeah, it was like closest allies.
So you really are just a support.
Yeah, it's literally only support. Because I was thinking this in combination with the new Death Rush, it might be cool for Slayer, but this is just strictly
Support.
a boss support item.
So this is what I'm going to bring whenever I feel like I'm not contributing to the team.
Yeah,
I'm like, don't worry,
literally
guys.
Be like, all right, I'm carrying you.
I got the horn.
Like, bring the Soul Flame. Like, if you are doing nothing, just bring the Soul Flame.
Yeah, me.
Very interesting. I doubt this will go over super well, but
We'll see.
interesting nonetheless.
Next one's kind of random.
Yeah.
So
This is what I was talking about a second ago.
Yeah, additional Chasm of Fire amenities. Like Robert said, Yama is going to be in the Chasm of Fire. And Chasm of Fire, like, no one really goes there.
Yeah.
To be honest, I would go there when I was training Slayer because I could set my cannon and stand under it. So I could just completely AFK. None of them would be able to attack me. Anyway, they are going to add mining randomly. They've got a new mining method that'll give you some rare and exciting new ore. In exchange for a bit of physical labor, you'll earn a new ore, which can be combined with armor shards dropped by Yama to forge a chunk of soul armor for yourself.
Yeah.
So like kind of like forging your own Torva?
This is where they reveal that Yama can either drop whole pieces of armor or armor shards, which you can then combine with these fragments to make the whole armor.
Presumably, it's a heinous amount.
Presumably.
Because it's probably going to be so expensive.
I imagine they even say it here, they kind of point out the obvious and say that if loads of people do the mining activity for the ore, they'll obviously go down in price. So, and more of the value will sit with the armor shards instead, which come directly from Yama, driving the GP per hour of Yama up. But if people stop doing the mining activity, then the armor shards will lose value and the ore will actually go up because obviously there's more demand for that. So
Yeah, so
pretty simple.
hopefully they thought off well enough.
So
But
that's why I said this will be way more viable for a normal human to buy over Torva, just because Torva is still very expensive.
Yeah.
Whereas there's 2 different ways to get this type of gear, so it naturally should be more common.
You do have to kill the boss for the armor shards in general, but
Yes.
the rest of it you can make.
Yeah, it'd be the same as like, you know, instead of every 100 or so kills getting, I don't even know what the drop rate is, getting Torva, like every 100 or so kills, maybe you'll get enough pieces for
Torva.
Torva plus a quarter or something, because you've got some extra pieces. I
Yeah.
don't know, whatever. But it should, unless they make the drop rate much lower, which could directly counteract this idea, but it should result in just more of these armors being available.
I think so. But that's all they had to say on Yama, the new duo boss, the Master of Pacts. So let them know what
The
you
devil.
think. Then it's Satan. Let them know what you think about Satan.
Literally making a deal with the devil.
That's okay. It happens.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm very excited about that personally.
yeah,
I think that's gonna be a lot
it
of
looks
fun.
kind of cool, and they obviously the duo boss concept was a big hit for
Yeah,
a lot
Royal
of people.
Titans was a super hit, especially now in game. People are gonna be very excited about it.
Yeah, very, very exciting. So I think a lot of people will be on board with that. Maybe they're not going to be the most hyped about the rewards, but I think the boss, regardless, will be pretty excited.
Yeah. Next up is Varlamore, the Final Dawn. That'll be out in summer. So with that, we're getting the Tlati Rainforest, the First and Rage boss, Auburn Valley, new fletching activity, Custodia Pass, new Slayer Dungeon, and Twilight Emissaries finale quest.
True. I don't know why, but I thought it'd be cool if it was pronounced like Talati.
Talati?
I don't know.
I could pronounce it like that if you'd prefer.
No, that's probably not how it's pronounced. I just thought it'd be cool if that's how
You're
it
like,
was
I just think
pronounced.
it's fun. So let's get into this. I'm skipping the fluff part at the top. There's just a billion blogs.
There
sorry.
is a little bit of a video showing what the boss of this expansion is going to entail if you do want to check it out.
It's a praying mantis.
It is not a praying mantis.
He thought
it
it
is
was.
a mantis shrimp.
It doesn't look like a shrimp.
It does if you've seen a mantis shrimp.
Oh, I haven't.
Shout
so
out.
that
You
makes
should
sense.
look it up. Mantis shrimps are really hardcore.
What? It does kind of look like
It
They're
does.
pretty.
It looks exactly like a mantis
Not as
shrimp.
colorful though.
What about that red one?
The red one maybe.
Okay.
Mantis shrimps are really pretty.
They're really hardcore.
Oh.
Just so you know, mantis shrimps kill things by flicking them, and they do it so fast
It cuts them
that
off.
it just will straight one shot kill things in real life.
Jesus.
Yeah. Like
And
it's-
that's how the death boss is gonna be.
They I don't know if this part I'm making up, but I think I remember hearing that they hit so fast and so hard it breaks the sound barrier, but obviously it's underwater.
Oh my gosh. They'd hurt me.
They're hardcore.
I don't think they'd kill me, but it'd hurt me.
It would, yeah, it hurts.
would
Apparently
pinch you.
it's like really, really hurts. Like
Ooh.
they'll kill crabs, not obviously big ones, but they'll kill crabs in one hit.
Oh my god. Oh, they're like One Punch Man.
Yeah, like they'll just break
the ocean
they
world.
just break their shell open.
Ew.
Yeah,
Gross.
they're pretty metal. But anyways, speaking of metal, we can get into the thrilling story of the Final Dawn. You're going to need 66 Thieving, 52 Runecrafting, 52 Fletching, as well as Heart of Darkness and Perilous Moons done, with a suggested combat of 80.
We've talked about this a lot, so
Yeah, I'm kind of just skipping into it.
yeah.
The reward is going to be the unannounced melee weapon, which
It's
is
already passed.
it's already passed the reward poll. It's going to be the one that has a special attack for 30%, and it performs a single attack that does 50% increased accuracy and deals 50% increased damage if it does hit. And if the hit is successful, the target is guaranteed to have a burn effect applied to them, dealing 10 damage over 40 cycles. So it is
So specific.
not a very strong weapon. It's going to be similarly near the Dragon Scimitar. So if you want to do this quest instead of the Grandmaster quest that is DS2, or Monkey Madness 2, then, or is it Monkey Madness 1?
MM2. It's the second, I think.
Is it the
Oh,
second
wait,
one?
it might be the first.
I think it might be the first.
It must be right because the second would be kind of crazy.
The second one gives you Zenite.
Oh yeah, it's the first.
Yeah. So if you don't want to, if you don't want to do that quest, then you can do this, which might be a little bit easier. Who knows?
And you have a special attack, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and you can just rebuy this weapon over and over again for 75k if you ever lose it or get PK'd.
Yeah, it's a guaranteed quest reward, so no grinding for this.
Yes, exactly. You don't have to buy it afterwards. They just give it to you.
Love that. As well as that, you're also, from finishing the quest, going to get 55,000 thieving, 25,000 runecrafting, 25,000 fletching, 55,000 combat XP lamp, and 3 quest points, as well as access to the Doom of Mokiotl.
Yes, and speaking of the Doom of Mokiotl,
He looks
very
cool.
interesting boss.
Yeah, it's like his arms. It's, you know what it reminds me of? That death moth thing.
Death Moth.
You know the one that looks like a skull on its wings?
Kind of.
Yeah, because his arms look like a demon, and that's just like how he is.
Yeah, his arms just weirdly look like a demon.
What else is it? Is it like there's a certain kind of big cat that has dots on the back of its ears and supposed
That's
to
a
make
tiger.
Yeah, the tiger, like to make predators think that that's their eyes.
Yeah.
So it's like it just kind of gives the vibe of like evolutionary. They just had arms that look like demons.
Yeah, it
I
looks
like
like
it. It's
a
cool.
large worm centipede thing. Kind of reminds me of like
The shrimp.
Jormungandr from like Viking lore. So kind of interesting looking boss. It's going to be about twice as tall as your player character, so a pretty big boss. And it does look cool. It does seem like it transforms and
Digs through dirt.
evolves during the fight, which kind of makes sense because this is going to be the Enrage system boss.
I think it looks very good.
Yeah, so this is the Delve boss, the first in this game that we'll ever have. It does have a bunch of different mechanics that they go into here. I'm not going to fully go into them because
We've gone over it
we've
5
gone
times.
over it. Yeah, and
It's
it's
something that I think we did skip to let you guys know. It'll be similar to Coliseum in that every level you'll have more loot, but if you die, you lose all your loot.
yeah.
So keep that in mind.
They did say though, I don't know if they're going back on their word. Whenever they first, this is the boss where like almost all the rewards like failed. Like the polls. So I don't know if they're going back on the word, but originally they said as you get deeper into the delve, you will not get more quantity of loot. You'll just get like let's say you get a rune chest plate on level 1. On level 8, you're not going to get like 15 rune chest plates. It'll just be like constant 1 rune chest plate over and over again.
Yeah, they do say that you have a chance of receiving unique drops as you go lower, and some will only appear at deeper, more dangerous levels. So I think that's it.
They said to counteract this, you will just have a higher chance at getting uniques the further you go. So let's say it's like a 10% chance at level 1, you'll get a unique. At level 8, it'll be a much higher percent, like 50%. I'm just throwing out random numbers.
Some of them you can't even get level 1, they said.
Yeah, exactly. So this whole boss is supposed to revolve around you getting uniques. So that's why that was their justification for not giving you more and more trash loot as you venture deeper into the boss fight.
Yeah.
But as you do venture deeper into the boss fight, it will become increasingly difficult, supposedly extremely difficult at the very end.
I thought it was very funny because they changed it a little bit what they said before. It's an endgame boss, so be particularly fun for players at or above combat level 120 who either have or are close to getting their Infernal Cape. Because last time I think that they said if you have an Infernal Cape.
No,
I might be misremembering.
I think that's what I think they said this is for people that have Infernal Capes, but I think when the blog came out, it already had this getting close to Infernal Cape.
That said, this is not the Inferno, and the rewards are designed to reflect that, which is why they got rid of that
Which
cape.
is why there are no rewards listed here.
Deeper levels increase the difficulty of the fights in several ways. So that could be increased boss attack rate, smaller reaction time for specials, lingering arena states from previous levels, environment changes resulting in extra damaging effects which can be avoided, and additional fight mechanics and special attacks.
Yeah, I just think of
Coliseum's Invos.
I was just thinking of phase 3 in TOA.
Oh, I could see that. Yeah.
Because like obviously the fight progresses, there's stuff falling on you, and then as the fight progresses, there's more stuff
like
falling
the floor's disappearing.
Everything's going faster, and then the floor disappears, and then everything's as fast as it'll be.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that.
Okay, that's fair.
Besides that, if you're not into bossing or anything like that, then there's going to be a new fletching activity. This is the really weird fletching activity.
They acknowledge it.
For anyone that do they?
They do, yeah.
Where is
I'll
it?
just read it all first and then we can read it.
Okay. It says, this is the one where Ents roam the forest, magical Ents, and leaving offerings as they praise the land. Join them and connect to nature while leveling your fletching skills. Whittle totems into the likeness of the local wildlife.
Little baby totems. That's what it sounds like. You sound like whittle.
No, literally whittle with a knife. Decorate them with leftover bows, crossbow stocks, and shields. They can be strung or unstrung, apparently. If they impress the local Ents, you'll receive XP and other rewards. I specifically called out how weird this is because that'd be like going around in like a cemetery, respecting all the dead people and leaving body parts of other people at like the cemetery.
While we're here, we wanted to clarify a couple points that came up during feedback.
It was weird.
Firstly, it might seem a bit weird that the Ents reward you for offering up items made of wood.
It is weird.
To this, we say, Ents are ancient, mysterious creatures, and very few understand their true motives.
Damn. instead of making it make sense, they're just all like, yo.
No, they do a little bit. So what we do know is that they value the natural cycle of life. They know that all living things must take from the earth and someday give back in return. By returning wooden structures to the land in the form of totems, you're playing your part in completing that cycle. So that's kind of nice, but I think it's hilarious that they acknowledged it. They were like, okay, guys, you were all calling us out.
It's funny. I mean, that's
we're
cool.
Like, hello, tree. Here's a dead tree for you.
Yeah. It's your homie Bill. I just cut him up and left him here
and he's
for
a
you.
bow now.
Yeah. Isn't it cool? I'm not going to use this bow. I cut him up just to train fletching.
Yeah, that's the cycle of life, Bill.
So crazy.
We should read the gameplay loop before I read the next point.
Yeah, so we've talked about this before, so I'll kind of make a brief
reminder.
You have to have 15 fletching to come here, and you'll get the most out of it around level 50.
I'm 99. Do you think it'd be worth?
No. I'm guessing it's not really going to be worth unless you have just a ton of unstrung bows anyways. So,
which I mean, a lot of people probably do.
You're going to go to one of the scenic totem locations, scout the area, gather logs. The higher tier wood, the better, obviously. Whittle your log into a blank pole, which is going to be the animal you choose to represent. You'll carve it into the totem. Either fletch strung or unstrung bows, crossbows, stocks, and shields, or use some that maybe you have stockpiled. Over time, Ents will pass by to pay their respects and leave offerings. There's no need for you to wait around for them. They'll eventually come by. So once they do, you can collect your offerings to receive the XP. So essentially, you're going to make the totem at these several different locations. And then at these several different locations, you'll leave offerings. They'll come by, collect it, and then give you a reward for these offerings.
Something you did skip is the higher tier that you're talking about for the totems. You have to observe the animals in the area, and you should make your totem look like one of the 3 most common animals, and that's how you do the top.
Okay.
So it sounds kind of cute that you can make like a little bunny.
Sure. But yeah, there's also going to be a bit of downtime, especially while running in between totem sites. So this might be a good time to fletch in between if you're still doing it.
But this is the other point they made. There was some concern that this would be a daily scape activity. We want to show you that this is not the case. This activity is designed to have you running from point to point with little to no downtime. So the downtime they meant is while you're literally running.
Yeah.
You're not going to be standing around. Okay. So don't worry about that. I think we all thought the same thing. That's why they had to clarify for us.
I didn't think it would be daily. I thought it would be like birdhouses.
Yeah, no.
Which would be like, I logged in 4 hours ago. These are done.
It's more like herbivore.
Yeah.
Running around.
Yeah, it's more like herbivore.
Yeah. And it's going to be slow, but they're always moving. Rewards. They did share some potential rewards for this activity back in December. Since then, we've taken all our feedback and worked to narrow the collection down to a handful of core rewards, which they will get back to us on.
Yeah, some of them are cool, like fletching knives and stuff like that.
Was that the one that had the Raven recolor for the Quetzin?
I don't know.
That was probably saying completely. That's probably a Game Jam thing. Next up is...
We have the Slayer Dungeon.
Wow, you ready to cut me off like that?
No, go ahead.
I've never cut you off in my life.
I know.
I was trying to cut you off and I actually messed up. The Custodia Pass is a hostile stretch of rocky ground that marks the border between Varlamore and Corrend, and it's the perfect hunting ground for Slayer enthusiasts. After completing the quest, you'll gain access to new Slayer Dungeon, teeming with creatures to slay, including the Custodian Stalker. I literally laughed because the baby one, I was like, that looks like Moose when he looks like a loaf.
Yeah.
It's just a little demon baby rat thing.
Yeah, so it's like a demon bunny rabbit that turns
that you
into
can't attack.
Yeah, and then it gets bigger and bigger and is a higher level and you can fight them.
And the Elder looks really creepy.
Yeah, and they have insatiable bloodlust, obviously.
Duh.
And you can fight them, and they do drop a special item, which is an offhand that is worse than the Dragon Defender, but much easier to get, obviously. And you don't have the requirements of the Warriors Guild.
And you don't have to go waste time killing Cyclops to get it.
It's like having a proselyte. I don't know how to say that. How do you say that word?
Those of you bringing proselyte along to Slayer Task will also enjoy the +5 prayer bonus.
It's like having a proselyte.
I thought you wanted me to read the word proselyte.
We're calling it the proselyte cussy.
I was going to call it the cussy. How do you, Cuisse, how do you pronounce that?
We're not going to look it up. It's the proselyte cussy from now on. That's what they said it's like having.
Anyway, it's like having your own proselyte cussy.
Yes, it actually is going to be very useful for people that are using RCB or the hunter's crossbow. I think it's just going to be straight up best in slot for a very long time, because the alternatives are like the wilderness items.
Oh, like the odium.
Yeah, the wards, or the ward from the worms, like the frost worms, like
You're a worm.
it's, or
Got
the twisted buckler. Like there's not a ton of other options, so I think this will be used by a lot of players, specifically for the +9 range accuracy.
I have to ask because I cannot think. You just said the frost worms. Did you just mean the worms in Kourend?
No,
Oh, the wyverns.
Yeah, the wyverns.
I was literally in my head like, what the frick is a frost worm?
Well, they're frozen.
And they are, and they're wormy in nature.
Yeah. There you go. And it does give you +2 range strength. So I honestly see anyone outside of those people that have like ZCB best in slot with buckler.
I could have used this last night. I don't actually have a good shield for ranging.
Most people don't. So I think people will go here actually to pick this up.
I will.
It gives you negative defense, but all the attack bonuses are pretty good.
Next up, which I don't know why this is such a simple looking boss, but I love it, is the gemstone crab boss. So this is going to be in the Talati rainforest. Talati rainforest. This crystallized crustacean is capable of spawning multiple locations throughout the rainforest. So prepare to travel
First?
You
said forest. You for a forest like a southern. Prepare down the rainforest.
Prepare for travel if you plan to track it down. We also suggest that you bring a crack team of fellow fighters, that you bring crack with you, as Gemstone Crab is designed to train your combat stats collaboratively. The MVPs will receive some gems by way of reward, but beware it'll take some effort to crack that shiny shell.
Yeah, this giant crab is about the same as 6 humans are wide.
Yeah.
No, it's actually a 5x5 boss. So if you want to bring a scythe here, you can.
You probably want to crush it. I imagine hammers would be good.
The scythe has a crush option.
Yeah, it's not great. Are they going to drop a pet?
Probably.
I don't remember if they mentioned that before.
This thing in the game.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you don't have a pet, then I don't know.
Where are you going with the segue? Come on.
I was gonna say, if you don't have a pet, then maybe you can get one of the cool pets from, I forgot the name of the boss though, the frozen
Moxolotl.
Yeah, maybe you can get the one from a Moxolotl, which looks like the new mob that we're getting.
Holy, that was like 5 layers.
Bro, I go deep with my
segways.
Do
you remember like the segways, like the scooters?
Yes.
Did you ever ride on one?
Do you know how to spell that? Or
it's like SEGUE.
Yeah, it's weird, dude.
Segwa.
Yeah. But speaking of Segwa, we have Naguas. And these Naguas are in the Talati rainforest, rounding out the spiritual trio. For anyone that doesn't know, this is just to round out.
Everything's gonna. Oh, I thought they meant everything's in the Talati rainforest.
No, I was gonna say. So we have the other Naguas that drop the slash bonus weapon. We have the frozen ones that drop the crush bonus weapon. And then we have this one, the earthbound Takpatl, which is the stab bonus variant. None of these are very good, but if you...
They're mid-level.
They're very mid-level. They're worse than a D-Sim. So if you've done the quest, then you really don't need this unless there's a particular boss or thing you're killing that's really weak to stab.
Or if you're a collection logger.
Or if you're a collection logger.
Yeah. Or if you're an iron who's unlucky everywhere else.
Yeah. All of these items do give you 2 hit splats. So if, again, you could take advantage of that, maybe it's worth it. But that is it.
I'm very excited about Varlamore. Weirdly, the gemstone thing, I don't know why. I love it. I think it looks so pretty. The Doom thing looks really cool too, right?
The Doom thing.
They said that they're gonna call it the Doom.
Yeah.
See, the Doom for short.
The Doom.
The Doom. I don't that gemstone. I don't know. It just looks so shiny. You know, like in Moana, it's like it's so shiny.
Did you try to pronounce the name?
The Doom of Macchiato. I think that's pretty close to how they were saying it during Runefest.
Yeah, but they don't know how to say it. They just
made
put the letters together.
No. Okay, how do you pronounce it?
I was gonna say Macchiato.
That was actually pretty good. The Doom for short.
Yeah, the Doom. So this is going to be the Mantis boss. I think that looks cool.
I think it looks so sick. But I mean, that crab though.
But yeah, so that was pretty cool. Final Dawn coming this summer, hopefully. All right, everyone, we are back. It's the next day, and we already have Yama changes.
Yeah. Should we just get into that immediately then? Or did you have other
Well, I
stuff you
mean,
want to
I
share?
have updates. Do you have any
Okay, well,
updates?
no, I don't. You could have started with that.
Okay, well, number one, shout out to anyone that noticed. This is the same shirt, not just from yesterday, but
So
from
from
last week.
I noticed whenever I went and was editing the podcast, I saw it from last week and I was like, are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, same shirt.
And that's a shirt from my old podcast, actually.
Yeah, and
The logo's
also,
fading.
I said I was a little tired yesterday. It may be because I think I'm actually sick.
And I don't think I'm sick, so I'm just going to sit next to him and see what
Yeah.
happens.
And also, someone had a suggestion for the combo runes that we're getting, the catalytic combo rune, and they had some suggestions for names for the other catalytic combo runes that we might
Ooh.
eventually get.
Hopefully.
So the name that they decided to go with for the soul and the cosmic is ethereal.
I like that. I love the word ethereal.
Fairly on brand.
Yeah.
The death and the blood combo would be oblivion.
Oh, that's good.
And the law with nature combo would be dominion.
That one's okay.
I mean, yeah, they
I
seem
want to
fun.
do like divinity. No,
Divinity.
that's a skill.
There's nothing godly about it.
You know what? Dominion sounds funny to me because it sounded like you're saying Dominion, and I was imagining a minion from like Despicable Me. That's
Yeah,
why I
right.
laughed.
That's what we should change the name of cosmics to.
And the picture is just like a little minion on it.
Yeah, because they're yellow.
Yeah.
Besides that, though, I don't have any other updates. I just thought that was kind of cool. I thought that was a pretty good idea.
It's actually relevant to what we're going to talk about too, the Yama stuff.
Yeah, so we have some Yama changes, and these are actually it's
more
not
like
really changes.
Question and answers.
Yeah, there were some questions that people had. Either that they just didn't know. Like, for instance, it didn't say on here that you had to do the Corinne Pinnacle quest in order to unlock
We
this
assumed
area.
though, I think we even said it.
I didn't assume. I knew because they actually announced it at Runefest.
Oh, it wasn't in the blog.
It wasn't in the blog. So
Okay.
things like that were clarified.
They also said some sources said Yama would be coming in summer, others said spring. So as long as everything goes to plan, it's gonna be out in spring,
Yes.
which is like actually really soon. It's March already. That's weird.
True.
Within the next few months.
And
Cool.
then the next one is some people were concerned that contracts, for anyone that didn't follow along,
The deals with the devil.
contracts, aka the deals with Yama, that would make him more difficult in order for you to get the awakened version of the armor. That is not the same as invocations.
I didn't remember them ever saying this, but they said we've made no secret about not being over the moon with invos in hindsight. I didn't
Yeah.
know that they didn't like it in hindsight.
I didn't know that either.
I'm
but
like, I feel like you did make a secret, or we're oblivious.
yeah, they just didn't make it
also
super well
likely.
known. And so they did say that contracts will be similar and that they'll make the fight more difficult, but it'll just be one singular thing. Like, you're not going to be stacking contracts. It's just going to be one contract for the fight to make it more difficult. And then if you die, then you choose a different one or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be a bunch of them.
And it, yeah, not the bunch where you stack a bunch of them together.
Yeah, it'll just be like the boss attacks faster or something.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like attacks faster, has more health, and then you have a higher chance of getting the awakened stuff. No, it's just going to be one thing.
What I'm surprised by, I want to go back on it, is them saying how they don't like invos, but Coliseum reminds me of invos. So that's kind of weird. Maybe they like the more narrowed down, you choose as you go vibe.
Well, Coliseum is different. It's a roguelite
Okay.
system. So
I don't know all the technical gaming things.
oh well,
I just know
a
it reminds
roguelite
me of each
system
other.
is like a system where you get to choose which modifiers come up as you progress.
Yeah.
Specifically as you progress.
I feel like you've explained mod or whatever light to me rogue light to me so many times, and I never retain it for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, because it's
there's
never
a
really
few-
relevant to anything I do.
Yeah, there's a few different types of like roguelite mechanics. Like, some will be like your character gets stronger over time, or some will be like things get more difficult over time, but usually it's pseudo random, and invocations are different in that you pick them.
Okay.
So that's a big differentiation there. The next one is going to be some thoughts on Soul Flame Horn.
Yeah, we were reading this on our lunch. We were talking to each other on the phone. You thought they were getting rid of it, right?
No,
Or that they were nerfing it.
I thought they were just going to change it because I started thinking it'll be too good when it comes out.
They
So
didn't change it.
I think they will nerf it whenever it comes out. These are just mainly clarifications.
Yeah, we'll go through them real quick. So the special attack only works on melee attacks.
And also, it only works on melee attacks first accuracy check of any attack rolls within the first 6 seconds. So the attack has to be within 6 seconds of getting the boost, and it only works on things that have accuracy checks, and it only works on the first one. For instance, if you are using a scythe, the scythe has 4 accuracy checks, one for each of its hits.
3? Is it 4? There's only 3.
3. However many,
many.
it has. If you're fighting a smaller thing, it'll have like 1 or 2. It'll only work on the very first one. But the thing is, some people did point out that is potentially going to make things like the Abbey Dagger maybe more useful than it is currently, which is not at all. Because for anyone
They
that
did try
doesn't
to
know,
buff it a few years ago.
they did.
It didn't do much.
I think it's still pretty good in Bounty Hunter, but I don't see this being used in Bounty Hunter. Anyways, for anyone that doesn't know, the Abbey Dagger, it has a guaranteed second hit on its spec as long as the first actually hits.
So that'll make it relevant. That's
it only
nice.
has 1 actual accuracy roll, so that would work there. Same thing with claws. Claws only check accuracy on the first hit. As far as I know, last time I read it was whenever Burning Claws came out. So if it's changed since then I don't know. But I thought it only had 1 accuracy roll, and some people brought that up and how it could be pretty good for those types of weapons.
Cool. For irons, we'll be experimenting with a system where you can benefit from somebody's soul flame horn, but only if you've obtained one yourself. So we don't want the case that you can't raid with your friends if you're an iron, but equally we'd like to prevent abuse cases like soul flame horn to crystal halberd special attack spam and neck rails to speed through melee training in cases where your character isn't already well progressed.
I think this is dumb.
Yeah. The thing is, it's hard because there's a lot of stuff in the game where they have to like kind of nerf things for boosting reasons.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's hard for me in my head to kind of draw the line at where do you kind of ruin it for other people just to get rid of the bug abusers, you know? Or the people who are just abusing take advantage of it.
Yeah, I think
most people probably don't feel like training a second account, buying a horn, and doing this. Some people would.
Yeah, some people definitely would.
But
like this would definitely get used exactly how they just said it would get used. But the thing is, excuse me,
get
sorry.
emotional.
No, like I said, I'm probably a little sick, so I'm gonna be coughing a lot.
That's
but
okay.
the reason I think this is dumb is because it's the same reason you don't, or you still allow other people to use spec weapons in raids with irons, because it would be dumb if like your iron goes up and then you technically aren't getting any of the Warhammer or BGS specs because you're an iron, and the damage that you deal is just less because of that. Like that doesn't happen because that would be dumb.
I don't know. I kind of get because it reminds me of like Venge. Like you can't Venge other.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's how I think of it. I don't hate this. My hot take that I'm not convinced on because I'm not an iron. I almost feel like if they're doing this, they should just make it so irons can't benefit from it at all.
Yeah.
Not you can if you've gotten one.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if that's... Well, no. Oh, no. You know what? Because the only way to use this with friends.
Yeah.
Never mind. Okay, I take that back. That was too hot of a take because that means they'd literally never be able to use it.
Literally never.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. I forgot how it works.
I honestly don't care if it worked this way, how they described, where it, works for you, but also doesn't work for you. If every spec weapon worked this way for irons. But the fact that you can BGS, you can Dragon Warhammer, and you can Elder Maw, and it works for you, like that enemy still has 0 armor when you go to hit them on your iron. You didn't do those specs. Someone else did.
So you just feel like that would mean if you're an iron and you can't utilize this, you're basically getting carried, would be your fear. Because you can't hit as hard as everyone else from that.
No, I don't care. Like I said, I don't care if this is usable the way they described or not usable the way described. I care that there is inconsistency in the way that they do things like that moving forward, because that's one of the really big things I don't like about the wilderness, is that things randomly do or don't work based on the whims of whoever implemented it at that time.
Yeah, sometimes during Elmas, you get surprised with such RAM stuff. They're like, oh, it doesn't autocast. I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, what?
Like some people are like, oh, this doesn't work how everyone would imagine it worked unless you kept up with, the latest how this has worked. It's just weird.
What is funny, though, is if they implement like this, there's always people who don't read the blogs, don't communicate with the community, listen to podcasts or anything, but their friends are going to be doing it and they're like, dang, I just keep not hitting within that 6 seconds. You know, it's going to like
Yeah.
gaslight someone.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, so I don't really care if it works a certain way as long as everything works a certain way. Cause like,
You
it's-
can't
it's
pick
the
and choose.
yeah, it's the same thing. Like, I don't want it to be all like,
You have to have a soul horn flame, or soul flame. Soul horn flame.
yeah, like this won't work for you, for example. So it's like, I don't know, like you'd imagine it would work for you. Why wouldn't it work for you? But
I can see the argument on why it wouldn't though at the same time, because you're iron and you stand alone, whatever.
yeah, I guess
I
so.
can really see it both ways, but I think it should work for you. I've changed my mind now. I've come full circle, because otherwise it's a weird thing to add to the game where we have irons that stand alone because you can't make it so they literally can't use this item.
I think potentially they could make it so that this item is only usable for irons in raids.
I don't know. Or what if they just made so it also affects you?
Because when else would you be using this on an iron? Never.
Next.
It doesn't work on yourself.
No, I mean like you use another irons at next if you're in a small group.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Well, outside of group content.
No, you'd only use in group content.
Exactly. What they're saying right now isn't group content though.
Oh, they could.
They're saying they would use it to abuse Slayer.
So it's hard because the only way you could do that is if it's like a multi-combat room, but then like some Slayer dungeons are multi-combat.
Yeah.
So it's weird, like, how do you
that's why I
implement
was
that?
saying like, and you should make it so that it is only usable specifically within group content
Yeah.
for iron specifically.
But then that might be a lot of coding to go and be like type up.
I don't
which
care.
group
That's their
content.
job.
That's fair.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just inconsistencies like that I really dislike, especially because, like I said, I think it's way more beneficial if someone else is using a BGS or an Elder Maw and consistently specking an enemy down to like 0 armor.
And yours is just RNG hoping that you get that
And
accuracy.
you're all like, okay, I haven't ground out this end game duo boss because I don't have a friend that wants to grind it out with me, so I get penalized for that. Like, that sounds lame.
Yeah. Equipping the horn will require level 80 magic, and also kind of what you're saying, if you don't have a friend to go, you can solo this boss, but it's not going to be easier. It is still scaled to duo, kind of like
Yeah.
Royal Titans.
That was one of the questions is, can this be soloable? Technically, it's soloable in the same way that hard mode chamber or hard mode like Taub is soloable, I'm guessing.
I feel like it won't be as hard as that.
Well, obviously not, but I mean,
Oh,
like,
okay.
it'll be like, sure, people can
But that's not how it's
people can
designed.
technically do it, but unless you are of that level of player, it's probably just not going to be feasible. I can
Yeah,
imagine.
and they said it's more efficient, worthwhile to do in duo.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be like
It'll just be like a harder Royal
I
Titans.
imagine it's not going to be like Royal Titans where you can solo it and it's not unreasonable to solo it. I just think it'll be like borderline not doable for most players.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, people would definitely. I wonder if maybe they'd add like a CA for that.
Maybe.
I was
That's a
surprised.
complete guess, like shot
Yeah.
in the dark. It could be easily soloable. I just don't
Just
see
the way
that
they're
happening.
hyping it up.
Especially because like imagine like being able to solo Nex easily. You can solo Nex. It is incredibly difficult to do so though.
I feel like people could solo like Taub. That's bizarre. Even in leagues, I couldn't. I
Yeah.
kept dying at Nilos. One time I made past Nilos, and then I went to So, and I didn't realize how to do the maze in solo.
What about people soloing hard mode top not in leagues?
I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I think was it like Sasha Fierce to that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I know there's one person that was like super gamer, and I remember people were telling me to reach out to her whenever I want to go for Inferno. I think it was her. I don't know. There's so many gamers in this game. Anyway, players pointed out some of the numbers being off for the soul armor set stats and table. They fixed those.
I didn't mention this because the mod that this was told to already said that they had changed it, so I didn't even bring this up.
We talked about it yesterday.
No, before we even went over it yesterday, the very first hour that it came out, someone's like, "These are wrong,"
Oh,
and
okay.
and the
So
mod
it got changed
the
already.
mod was like, "Yeah, it's because I was communicating a bunch of different numbers as it was changing."
Okay.
So yeah, they already knew that it was wrong.
Some players wanted abyssal worms to come from elsewhere. We want to keep them where they're at. They said that's too damn bad. PVM and skilling have become intertwined in many aspects, and we'd like for Yama to have supply drops too. That being said, we don't want to do the usual drop boss foods, so we're experiencing with boss drops things that make it more worthwhile for you to go and get that food for yourself.
Sure.
This isn't a hill we're willing to die on, but we like it for now.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be super useful anyways. It's really going to be only used by bots if it's profitable. Maybe by an iron if I don't know if they run out of anglers. The next and last is Cosmic Soul Runes. Just people said it wasn't a good name, so
We kind of went over some of the suggestions.
yeah, that's why I went over it. They were looking at things like Mystic or Occult for other naming conventions.
I liked Occult or Divine or Celestial. Those are some others.
I think Celestial makes sense. Divine, this isn't like a holy item, so that doesn't make sense. I feel like Celestial or Occult would make more sense.
Yeah, I really like Occult the most.
Yeah.
I don't know, because it's like witchy.
Sure.
Yeah. They're open to suggestions, but they want to keep it below 3 syllables.
Yeah. Ultimate Divine Celestial.
So Dominion. Oh, it's 3.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was going to be 4.
Dominion.
Duh. Okay. That is it for the Yama, and we already did Varlamore. Summer sweep up?
Yeah, we could talk about Summer Sweep Up real quick. And we are going to be going a little bit swifter through these.
Well, these are smaller.
Yeah, these upcoming ones because we don't want the episode to actually be 3 hours.
So this one is surprise going to come out in summer. It's just going to be like more about like Project Rebalance kind of vibes and quality of life. So first up is combat adjustments. Elemental weaknesses have been a hit, and we've been keeping a close eye on them and what players have been enjoying about them the most. Based on that, we're expanding the system with a bunch of new weaknesses and monster interactions. Halberds have been a hot topic, and we're giving them even more reach. Soon you'll be able to use them at Zulrah.
Yeah.
And Aviances.
It's funny
That's
because
cool.
I said Zulrah because Fire is incredibly good at Zulrah now.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't even.
You didn't know that?
I knew it, but I wasn't even referencing the halberd
I thought
change.
you were spoiling it, and I was like, okay.
No, I wasn't even referencing the halberd change.
Do you want to read the next one?
Yeah. So that just means that they're gonna add more elemental weakness to a bunch of stuff. Hopefully more bosses and stuff like that. That'd be really cool. Loot table changes. So they've been taking a close look at loot tables, and they were showing the graphs for this at Runefest, and it was kind of funny because they were showing like how many blood runes do you get per week? You know, does the game get injected to it per week from certain mobs? So it was like 6 million from worms, 9 million from Firewatch Sentinels, and the Nomad from Soul Wars is about 33 million.
I love that.
Not many people even do Soul Wars content, but it still brings in 33 million.
I don't know if it was on the podcast or I was talking before the podcast, but I didn't even know what Nomad was.
No,
I was like, what is that?
It was on the stream. You didn't even know.
Oh, it was on stream? Okay, yeah. I was just like, is that like new?
Yeah, the Nomad, for anyone that doesn't know, not only does he drop like stacks of 4,000 regular like pure essence.
Right? I did that during leagues for the essence and I left.
Yeah, he also drops stacks of several hundred of pretty much all of the top tier runes.
Damn.
So he's incredibly good for a lot of reasons, and that's why people have like the boosting communities and stuff like that. They're just and the boosting isn't not allowed as far as I understand. I think it's like actually a thing.
So far.
Yeah, and that's what everyone does in leagues as well. So that's the way they get a lot of content.
I didn't know that's why. I literally thought people were just being rude.
No.
Okay, well that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Some people were probably just being rude.
Oh yeah, definitely. So because of this, because of all the items that are getting injected into the game, they kind of want to balance it out. And to smooth things out, they're going to be altering some loot tables. You can, I would be willing to bet you can find that the Nomad will be much less generous if I had to guess.
Stock up now before the summer.
The thing is,
get your runes in.
I would be interested to see who all of the GE investors are betting on, whether they're going to, because I think they're going to nerf Nomad as far as rune drops go.
They said scaling back sources that are producing specific resources, but while giving a boost to NPCs with lackluster loot.
Exactly.
So we're still going to get the same amount.
That's why I was wondering, like maybe it'll overall be a bigger increase in blood runes, because blood runes are, you know, kind of one of the most useful runes.
Yeah, I'm always buying blood runes.
So I wonder if it'll offset it. Like maybe if they reduce the income from Nomad by like 10 million, but you know, give 12 million as boosts to other mobs.
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting to see.
I'd be willing to guess that it's going to stay about the same.
Yeah, maybe.
total.
This is the only thing they mention in the loot table changes. I would be kind of disappointed if this is the only thing they changed as far as loot tables go, was a single rune. But I mean, maybe that's all they changed.
We'll see. Slayer improvements. We have a few of these. So they're reworking the block list system to give you more flexibility, making sure tanky monsters reward the effort needed to take them down, merging some monsters into broader categories for better assignments, taking a fresh look at Inferno task, modifying the Abyssal Sire encounter, and adjusting perk prices so they feel more in line with their benefits.
That's going to be interesting. I'm most interested in seeing the change to Abyssal Sire.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but Abyssal Sire is annoying. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, pretty cool. Also, block list changes will be pretty interesting.
I wonder what that's going to be like.
Maybe they'll increase it because we have gotten a lot more quest points and stuff like that, and they have increased it in the past. Maybe they'll do it more.
Did they end up doing it last time they mentioned it?
Yeah, they did.
They did.
I think they did one for 300 quest points, which we didn't used to have before.
Oh, okay. I mean, they might not do it again then until we get more
Maybe.
quests.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But anyway, moving on to something that I'm very excited for, actually.
Is this next on the roadmap?
It is next on the road. Well, there's a sailing. Oh, sailing's going to be on autumn, by the way, guys.
Yeah, I was like,
We'll see.
I was like, wait. Yeah, so sailing's full release
Well,
is planned for like 5 months from now.
The thing is, I don't think it's going to be released in autumn.
Yeah.
I think winter. And honestly, I'm scared for it to be released in autumn. That's too soon. I don't know.
If I had to guess,
Wait, should I max first?
if I had to guess, there's going to be like another beta, and depending on how that goes, they'll push it back 2 months if it's bad, or push it back 1 month if it's good.
Yeah, I don't see it being out in autumn, and not even like in a bitter way. I'm okay with it taking longer.
Yeah.
I hope that they don't rush it.
I
just get it out.
honestly, if I was a betting type of person, I would say that sailing comes out too close to winter for them to have fully fleshed out Deadman, which is supposed to come out in the winter, and they're going to push Deadman until like the very end of the year, not just winter.
I could see that. Or Deadman early next year.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Blood Moon Rises. No, actually in that case I need to do Deadman. Sorry. There's so much stuff, guys, and there's the billion blogs.
There's
and
nothing-
Deadman doesn't even have anything.
Go down. You skip past it. There's like almost nothing on it.
That's Project
Oh,
Zanaris.
that's Zanaris. Yeah, there's actually
Okay.
no. Yeah, that's what we said in the beginning of the video, or in the beginning of the podcast, is that there's nothing on Deadman.
Oh, so we'll just read their little bullet points here. So winter, it's a new finale setup, new breach monsters, new sigils, and new gameplay modifiers.
Yeah, so there's actually no blog. It's the only one of the things we've talked about so far with no blog.
Not even like a partial like segment in a different blog.
But they do seem to be really big fans of what they did last year, as well as the time before that, where they do have the Rift system that drops down bosses, as well as tainted versions of end game items such as the T-bow and the scythe.
Yeah.
So if you liked it in years past, then I'm guessing you'll just get more of that this year.
The breach is like kind of a hit.
Yeah.
I don't see them stopping that.
Yeah, so I think they really like breaches. Seems like a lot of players really like breaches, and it seems based on what the roadmap says, it's going to be more of that.
Yeah. Next, okay, for realsies, Blood Moon Rises. That's gonna be out in early 2026.
Yeah, this is the very last thing on the roadmap.
It is also the very last item and not item quest in the Myrique.
Yeah.
The Myrique storyline. So this is going to be a Grandmaster quest. I'm super excited about this. The quest will take players to a new realm, the land of Vampirium, where they come face to face with Lord Lowerneil Draken in a battle to decide the fate of Mauritania. Expect high-stakes storytelling, complex puzzles, and some of the most challenging combat encounters yet seen in a quest. So they're very early level, but some requirements they said you're going to have to complete Sense of the Father and Night at the Theater. For skills, they're thinking multiple requirements at level 70 plus and would recommend a combat of at least 110.
Yeah, I mean, if you've done Night at the Theater, you probably have that.
Yeah. So a couple of questions for that. Should they add the quest? Yes.
Yeah. And the next one is, if they do add the quest, should they add Vampirium, a new frontier? This is going to be an entirely new area. Don't think a big new area like Varlamore. Think of a smaller Stranglewood-sized area from DT2. It's not going to be huge, but it'll have some content in it, and that is question number 3.
Well, I'm thinking, because this is the end of the storyline.
This is the end of it.
We're probably going to lose Virope Sentinels where they are now.
No.
Lore-wise, how would that make sense?
Lore-wise, why do half of the mobs in the game exist? We've exterminated all of them.
Yeah, but a lot of them are in dungeons. these are running around with people like tied up to the wall that they're like supposed to be eating. But I was gonna say if they would add it to Vampirium. So you go there.
I think there will be either different mobs there or additional mobs there.
I just don't understand how they'll be able to keep them there unless for some reason they're like, or they could do this for sure. We've allowed some of them to stay here, blah, blah, blah.
Bro, you have to think about it. Thematically, one, just because they kill Draken doesn't mean that all the vampires forever are dead. And two, would they just leave nothing there?
I don't know.
They're all, it's like, you finished the Varlamore quest line. Now there's no mobs in Varlamore.
Well, I was thinking all the humans that are like tied up to walls and stuff could be walking around. They live there now.
You feel bad for the humans?
It says the people of Mauritania will have a future.
Sure.
But it also says Mauritania will remain the ominous and dangerous land it's always been. So like, I don't really know what to think here.
You're all like, all right, well, we killed a mascot. So, I mean, we haven't yet, obviously. But it's like when we kill a mascot, there's no bad guys in the desert. All the mummies are gone.
Maybe we're never going to kill a mascot.
I mean, they do in RS3.
Stop.
That was part of their update.
They do a lot of stuff in RS3.
Yeah, that was part of their Runefest
We like killed
stuff.
gods and stuff, I think.
Jods. Yeah, so that is it.
For the main roadmap, there's actually a couple more that you forgot about.
For the main roadmap. And also, for anyone wondering, this is not a raid, but this is supposed to come out the beginning of next year. And the beginning of next year, they did say that they were going to start teasing a raid.
Yeah, we're getting a raid in 2026.
Yes.
Supposedly.
So this is apparently not connected to it.
I think it's going to be really just sailing.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They haven't said anything other than they are planning on a raid coming out next year.
Totally forgot to mention that part. Whoops.
I mean, it's not even on the roadmap.
Yeah, it must be very late next year.
Yes. And
expect that maybe in the winter summit this year.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And like I told you, I think just a few months ago, Mod Ash confirmed that they hadn't even begun working on the next raid. So it'll definitely not be anywhere close to done this year.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing mid to late next year.
I'd
And also, they didn't even call this the Summer Summit. They just called this the Summit, by the way.
They called it the Runefest Summit.
Yeah. So I don't even know if we'll get a winter one.
It's because we're at such a random time of the year. They're like, all right, March. I'm like, what?
The reason I don't know if we'll get a winter one is because this goes through early next year already.
True.
So I'm kind of guessing that
but it
they're
only does
only going
one
to do.
thing.
I honestly am guessing they're only going to do one of these a year because they've barely been keeping up with 2 a year.
As long as they keep doing Runefest every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say mighty go to Runefest next year? Someone asked me and I was like, I didn't even consider it.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're like, we should go to Japan.
We have other places we want to go to, so
we want to go to England,
not.
but we want to go other places more.
I honestly feel like it's kind of like whenever you like sit like courtside or something or like out of game, it's just to be there. And I don't know if I want to be there as much as I want to be somewhere else. And I get just as good a review by watching the stream, if not better.
It's actually pretty decent watching the stream.
It's almost always like you'll get a better.
I'm surprised. I really didn't have FOMO.
Yeah, you'll get a better view and a better understanding of what's happening watching an event than being at the event. It's just if you want to be there, it's different.
I will say, I had people I want to meet that were there. If there was like even more people I want to meet, then maybe I'd have more FOMO.
Yeah.
But I think just because like Fem was there and I wanted to hang out with her, but I've met her, so it wasn't as bad.
Yeah, we've met everyone that we wanted to.
Well, no, there's more people I want to meet.
Okay. At one point in time, we met everyone we wanted to meet.
But I really want to meet Ellie, so that's why I never was saying if Ellie can go, like I'm going.
Yeah.
Because I don't know when we're gonna go to Argentina. But I'd love to. That'd be really fun.
True. But we do have other stuff that is pretty exciting that you can look forward to later in the year.
And her name is Goose, and she's on our lap right now.
No, yeah, there is a cat. Of course, what I'm talking about is HD and a new API for modders.
They didn't say when this would be. So
they did not say.
They said and beyond.
Yeah, they did not say when this will be, but I think it's going to be either really late this year or next year.
I think it's going to be next year. Right? The and beyond. Oh my gosh, she's literally falling off his lap.
She like immediately slid down. Like she has she like clawed onto my body.
Listen, I
immediately fell down as if she doesn't know friction doesn't exist when she slides like that.
I love our cats. They're not the smartest cats.
No, little empty-headed sometimes.
a lot of the time, but that's okay. We love them. Goose bit my nose this morning. We were cuddling, and there was a red mark on my nose all day.
Yeah.
She didn't even do it like in a rude way. Like she was just cuddling me, bit my nose, and went back to cuddling me.
Just weird little needy cat
Yeah, they
things.
are. But anyway, moving on to the official client stuff. So that's related to the HD. Starting out with plugins. Everyone knows what plugins are.
Yeah, we are talking about HD and API plugin stuff, but this is the biggest part of this whole thing for me
Is this
is that
right?
all of this is going to be included and available on mobile because this is going to be for the base client, the
Yeah.
one that works on Steam. So this is all going to be incorporated into what is supposed to be the new base client.
Which means mobile's gonna have plugins.
Yes.
That's like almost more exciting than HD because I already have that on my PC.
Yeah. So this includes the new API, which for anyone that doesn't know, APIs are required for modders to be able to do their things. That's where they pull their information from. It's the most important part of modding for a lot of purposes. So that will enable plugins to happen, and hopefully that'll be really cool for modders. They've been working on that for a long time. The HD edition is kind of just like cool that it happens, but it's definitely not as cool as the plugin thing.
The plugin's the coolest to me.
Yeah.
So they said they're going to be launching an intuitive in-game plugin hub to download, install, and manage plugins. You'll be able to enjoy seamless addition of game-enhancing features, all from the comfort of your game screen. That's on PC or on mobile. We're dedicated to creating a community space for all things plugin. We want to connect players, plugin devs, and JMods for a collaborative development journey. Community is at the heart of this endeavor for us, so it's incredibly important for us to be in and amongst you, listening to your feedback, advising on plugin development, and making sure your feedback and bug reports get to the correct creators efficiently. We hope that our official JMod client team will become familiar faces to you through casual chats and Discord channels to Discord stages, plugin developer calls, and more. So I thought that was very interesting, though, how they'll be like, we don't have... Okay, or maybe it's just us projecting that we think that they don't have time to do stuff, but they're going to have a designated team of JMods to help people make plugins.
I think it'll be 2 people.
Okay, that makes it less crazy.
2 people as a team.
That's fair.
So,
Team.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a lot. I think 2 people moderating the hundreds of plugins will save them a lot of time.
Yeah. So that's something that you guys are able to do, and you're gonna be able to make your own plugins if you know how to do that. I literally can't comprehend how that's possible.
Yeah, and like I said, this will be obviously if your mod is available for the base client and not mobile for whatever reason, then obviously that'll just be the case. I don't know if everything will be cross compatible just based on
I don't know if
whatever
that's
mods.
probably a coding thing, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
hopefully everything.
Make everything cross compatible so we could have cool plugins on mobile, please.
Yeah, I was like, I don't
Any
know if that's like
developers-
going to be a support thing. Like if you're going to be allowed to only mod for PC.
That's interesting. That's not something that they mention or that I even thought about.
Yeah,
I was just like, they're gonna do it all.
maybe.
I don't know how it works.
Yeah, I don't know. They do a good job with cross-platform stuff. So hopefully anything that is made for it will be available on mobile as well. But that's going to be really cool.
Also on mobile, we're gonna get HD.
Yes, big HD. This includes volumetric lighting and stuff like that. So everything that you can imagine. We have seen peaks
previews, right?
of this. Yeah, like previews.
I think it's at the summer summit that they showed us.
I honestly think it looks better than 117.
It is. I don't know.
That being
It's kind
said,
of cool.
they have been working on this for several years, so I'd hope that they would be a little bit better than 117.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more customizable than 117.
Yeah, and it's also supposed to improve performance as well.
Yes, which HD sometimes slows it down.
Yes, and it's actually supposed to run better in SD. If you're just running the base client, it should just run better once HD comes out.
That's nice. I'm excited for it in that case.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I'm loving 117 still.
Yeah, absolutely. Something else that you might be loving is going to be Project Zanaris.
I don't know when I'm going to use that.
Yeah, me neither. There is a bit of a Runefest update, but really there's
Really
not
not
much of an update, just telling you a little bit more of the progress on the project, saying that there are now over 400 parameters for you to customize worlds. Think of essentially anything you can do with leagues, such as infinite ammo, XP multipliers, shop stock. All of that is in the game, and you can they have sliders for all that stuff essentially. So if you have your own client or your own server rather, and people want to join, you can essentially, what it seems like, recreate leagues.
Yeah. Should we go through some of these?
Also, they did not put leagues on the
Roadmap.
on the roadmap
I still have hope.
at all.
I don't know. I don't think it. I could see it happening early next year though.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. So they also have stuff like region locking, XP multipliers, damage increased against you, damage increased by NPCs, starting quests, gears, skills, all kinds of things.
Yeah, so you can have certain
Perma-scold.
certain quests already completed as soon as you log in if you don't want to do them, or if you're like doing a region locked thing, but you want to have certain other region quests auto done, then you can do that too.
I'm just less sold on it because there's no benefits to the main game. At least Leagues, you can get cosmetics from the main game.
Yeah. We still don't have any idea on price or anything like that, but you can register and show your interest if that's something you're into.
Yeah. Are we finally on actual updates happening now?
I think so.
Jesus. Okay.
All of that was the summit stuff.
There's so much. I mean, we have one more announcement if we want to go through that too.
Okay.
The CEO.
Oh, yeah. So the CEO, Mod Pips, that was recently, the CEO, has stepped down.
Yeah. Now we are going to be getting Mod North. So Mod North, it does have a little bit of information. Has previously worked at Jagex from 2015 to 2018 and has served as an advisor for us more recently. He has a dedicated RuneScape player for over 20 years, once maxing a RuneScape 3 account and nearly maxing his OSRS account. He understands the game, the players, and the unique culture that makes RuneScape special. I wonder if he still plays.
I don't know.
I feel like that matters a little bit. They didn't say why he stepped back. Why Mod Pip stepped back, but there's like a video of the two of them talking, so it doesn't seem like it was like some weird bad blood situation.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, no, they're just doing it to be professional.
I don't know.
New Mod Pips is still going to be here a little bit while they transition over to it, but yeah, they did post the whole thing because I was kind of talking to Robert and I was like, does that mean the whole apology and talking about like all that stuff the other month after that survey, does that mean that all of that is nil now that he's gone? Because he wrote
none of
that?
it meant anything anyways, but
They did acknowledge it. They said, our commitment to the integrity of both RuneScape and OSRS remains steadfast. While leadership may change, the core values that define them will not. We want to be clear, this transition does not signal a change in the monetization strategy, game direction, or how we engage with the community.
yeah, we were always planning on putting ads in free to play.
Shut up. The roadmap, our approach to updates, and our commitment to listening to players remains unchanged. We'll continue to build upon the strong foundations of both games, delivering meaningful content, updates, etc., etc. So they do say on here the polling system, transparent development process, and our commitments to non-intrusive monetization are here to say. Non-intrusive was an interesting way of saying that.
Non-intrusive, huh?
Progression.
Define that, please.
Progression will continue to be earned entirely through gameplay rather than external advantages, and all achievements, milestones, and accomplishments are a direct result of player effort. RuneScape is a cherished game, yada yada. We'll continue maintaining fairness to the endgame economy, ensuring that updates respect the balance of the game world with transparency in our decisions, and a willingness to explore meaningful changes to MTX offerings in RuneScape. Because people were pissed about that this year, right? They started adding kind of like, was it play to win stuff in RuneScape?
I don't know what you're talking about.
They did. I know they changed something about MTX in RuneScape. It was last year in RuneScape 3.
Oh, in RS3?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anything about RS3.
But yeah, I don't know how to feel about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess we'll have to just wait and see. I'm glad that they acknowledged all that.
Some people did ask Mod Matt K, which obviously doesn't work for the company anymore, but used to and knew this person. Some people were worried because Mod North has association with other extremely gotcha type games, which are MTX heavy, and people were worried about that. But Matt K did say that he's fine.
Yeah. I mean,
in a series of tweets.
That's also kind of the thing that you just get experience from that. Whenever we had Chershi on the podcast, she was talking about how before working for Bethesda, she just had to work for like a random mobile app kind of game situation that was like really bad and didn't pay well and stuff, but you need the experience on your resume.
Yeah.
So you can't really help sometimes if they're like gotcha games.
Yeah, true.
But I don't know. So we have a new CEO. Welcome, Mod North.
Yeah, shout out to Mod North, dude.
Unless you suck, in which case, no shout out.
I mean,
hopefully he's fine.
Yeah. Something that also doesn't suck is going to be this week's update. It's really
nice
just some quality of life stuff, so it definitely doesn't suck. It's kind of interesting. This is more game jam quality of life stuff, though.
Yeah, more of that stuff we've been waiting on. So this one's about weapon charges.
Yeah, and some people will find that their weapon charges still are kind of busted. This is stuff that they're continuing to fix because this patch didn't roll out perfect by any means. So for instance, some of the following items don't have auto charging features because that is
That's the big thing this week.
The auto charging whenever you withdraw a charge weapon from your bank was added this week, but items such as the crystal shield, crystal halberd, regular crystal bow, echo venator bow, and the Trailblazer Reloaded League Blowpipe. All of those will be cold fixed next week in the game update, so you'll just have to charge those like normal for now.
I think it's random how specific some of those weapons are.
Yeah, they also are aware of some issues where the infusion percentage for Arclight is wrong. I've seen as much as negative 10% and as much as 300% as far as charging goes. So
this should have been fixed though. So if you're still having issues, report that.
yeah, I've still seen some people say that certain charge items aren't working. For instance, they don't address this, but people have been saying that the Ursine Chain Mace previously would work even if the charges were at bare minimum. Outside of the wilderness, it would still work and remain charged and not use charges because you're not in the wilderness, obviously. But some people are saying that it just won't work.
Oh.
It'll take up the charges.
Honestly, I thought that it was supposed to use charges outside the wilderness too.
No, because people would use it outside the wilderness and they would just leave it at either, I forgot what it is, like a 0 or 1,000, whatever the base charge is, and it would still work. But some people are saying that it just won't work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of not working, POH tallies cannot see through windows in Civitas or Canifis themed POHs. That will be cold fixed.
And two things that are going to get hot fixed are issues where the messaging no longer reporting infusion percentage for the Arclight, and also messaging about progress towards corruption appears when they shouldn't.
Okay.
That's
That
it.
should be fixed.
Yep.
They also have a player suggestion on here. We've added a notification when players fail to withdraw the desired number of charges. So maybe you don't have everything in your bank.
Maybe you're low on runes or something.
Mhm.
But we have corruption changes. So this is the actual update. This has been coming for a long time and something that people have talked about for a really, really long time.
I forgot about this. So as of this update, use charges now contribute to the corruption process. In other words, by charging your Dizanis quiver or enhanced crystal weapons and using them, you'll make progress towards blessing or corruption, similar to how Arclight transforms into Emberlight. So that means you don't have to have a bajillion crystal shards. You can just slowly add more crystal shards and use your Bofa. You don't have to keep... Man, that sucks for irons.
Yeah,
I never thought about it. That you don't have to keep your crystal bow there unused, or your Bofa, while you wait to charge it to make it corrupted.
Yeah, the two most popular offenders of this type of content was the Bofa and the Emberlight, because
they already fixed Emberlight.
Essentially, I think this is for Bofa as well. These changes. So essentially, let's say you got 10,000 charges for your Bofa and 10,000 charges for your Emberlight, or your what's it called before it turns into an Emberlight? Arclight. And you charge them up, and then you use 5,000 charges. Now you have to get an extra 5,000 charges to make up for the ones that you spent, as well as the rest to get it to corruption.
Yeah, that's how it was before.
That's how it was before. But now, if you charge it with 10,000, use all 10,000. It doesn't matter. You
still counts to 10,000.
It still sees it as your charges having been to 10,000 ever, so it saves your progress essentially.
Yeah, way better. Never considered how much that one suck for irons because I'm a main.
Yeah, so irons to get around this would just straight up not use their Bofa, not use their Arclight until they had the maximum amount of charges to ascend the weapon.
That's crazy. Maintaining charges?
Yes. So gone are the days where you have to check your items charges. Even though I always thought that was incredibly easy, a lot of people forgot.
And also sometimes there's certain items that you also have to check, like the scythe.
True. So this week we're introducing a feature where you can charge an item straight from the bank when it's withdrawn. So these are for all charging weapons. So the blowpipe, the Bofa, the
most
scythe.
Charging weapon. It doesn't work for the scythe.
It doesn't work for the scythe?
It only works for items that you can charge from your bank.
You can charge from your bank. Yeah, you can't charge the scythe from your bank because you need the blood fountains.
The wells.
Any item that you can charge from your bank. So all of the ones, like all the charge staffs, everything like that. As soon as you take it out of your bank, assuming you have the settings done correctly, which will be at your bank, then it'll charge as soon as you take it out. You don't have to remember.
And that's a setting that you can toggle on and off, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's in the bank settings interface when the bank is open, and it's called bank item options. How many times can I say bank in one sentence?
So now this is nice because you don't have to keep your Trident topped up with maximum amount of charges because you don't want to keep redoing it. You can just set it at 1,000 so that anytime you take out your thing, it'll just make sure you have 1,000.
I like that. That's so nice.
More than enough for most people.
So with this enabled, you'll see a configure change option when right-clicking on any eligible items inside your bank. This moves a few options around due to some technical limitations. So you might, the muscle memory is going to be a little bit weird, but that's okay. Probably.
I was going to say that this would be a cool change for PvP, but there's like practically no charged items in PvP besides like, PvP specific items like crossbow, chainmail, stuff like that. So I guess it doesn't really matter as much there.
Also keep in mind the toggle for bank item options only affects whether or not you can see the configuration charge option. If you already have your charges configured, you can disable the bank item option setting, and any items that are already configured will still withdraw with the correct number of charges. So you'd have to re-enable the setting if you'd like to change the number of charges on an item. It's kind of weird and all over the place, but they did a thing.
Yeah.
And to go mess with your settings. I haven't done it yet, so I can't speak from personal experience. I have not logged into RuneScape in a couple days.
Yeah, same. The next thing I don't want to talk about because I think it's kind of weird.
I thought it was kind of cool. There's a collaboration with this game called BeatStar. It's like kind of like Guitar Hero-esque, like you're clicking buttons.
Yeah.
And they did it with a Masket's Promise. I thought it looked cute. It's just a little collab with RuneScape on another game, so go check that out if you want.
Yeah, I guess so. You can get it on whatever mobile app you have for Apple or for Google Play.
You want to read that one? We
Sure.
both breathed in like we were going to.
Speaking of music, we have Runefest Medley. So if you enjoyed Runefest Medley by Cole Roland, this was played during the Runefest 2025 opening ceremony. This epic rock tribute to some of the old school's most beloved tracks is available on all digital platforms, so you can go check it out wherever you get music.
Featuring Maud Ash on the violin.
Featuring Maud Ash.
So cool.
Jagex audio team. All of them were there, and it was kind of cool.
Next, they have some merch updates. So they have a bunch of socks. People, if you watch the Runefest thing, they're obsessed with socks. It kind of got a little tiring, them yelling socks every time. But they have that, like t-shirts, hats, drink mats, tea towels, all kinds of things. If you want to go check out some merch, go check it out.
Yep. Besides that, we have some other changes, the infamous other changes. This includes Echo Aram's equipment will now respect placeholders, same as non-ornamented barrow items.
Fixed an issue where certain ornament kits, painted items, and upgrade attachments were not correctly unlocking in the collection log for Iron players.
And lastly, reanimated giants now have a chance of dropping the Champions Challenge scroll, since giants who drop the unsold heads are most likely the same ones who drop that scroll.
Yes, I didn't know they couldn't drop them before, to be honest. That makes sense.
I think the chances of you getting it from that is just so incredibly low.
That'd be so funny, though. I mean, I was at Vedion before trying to get like an item for a bingo, and I got the skeleton scroll.
Nice.
Yeah, that was random.
Yeah. That's it though.
Q&A time.
Yeah, that's it for this week's update, as well as the roadmap. Let us know
so much
which part of the roadmap you're most excited for. I think Yama is going to be the coolest.
I think Varlamore.
I like how neither of us picked sailing.
It's okay. It's going to be okay.
Well,
yeah, we'll see if it's going to be okay.
We'll see. Let us know
I'm still back and forth with
let
sailing.
us know what your favorite part is, though. The vampire stuff looks cool too.
But not as big as the Yama and Varlamore.
I think Yama looks really cool.
Yeah. Before we move into the Q&A though, last week Robert asked a riddle. What was it? What month has 28 days?
Yeah.
We had 2 people who answered. So it was Rummy Tumbles on Spotify, and then Jay Reindeer on YouTube. The answer is 28, that every month has 28 days.
Yeah.
Sneaky
You're like, this
riddle.
isn't even a riddle.
I was like, it's February. It's because every month technically has 28 days.
Every month has 28 days.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway, with that, we can move on to the Q&A.
Yeah, sure.
Alrighty. First question we have. I haven't read these yet, to be honest, so we're just winging it. This is from Matt on Discord. Have you ever heard of an in-game insurance broker where you can pay a user a certain amount of gold per month, and if you die PKing or doing PVM or something, and you stream it and send the video, you'll be reimbursed? Question applies to OSRS and other MMORPGs. Also, theoretically, this would be legal, right? There's no real world trading. It's just OSRS currency. I've never in my life heard of that. You know what it sounds like is it's kind of like an accountability partner. Like,
Oh,
no,
really?
because then they'd be taking your money.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be giving it back.
It's not.
Is this something? I can't imagine this in the game that you get reimbursed.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be too easy.
Well, no, the thing is,
You don't get everything.
the thing is, I think it'd be too exploitable just because you're all like, all right, I'm going to go do this thing. I'm going to die. And then I'll just record it and send it and then get my insurance claim.
You know, goofy that sounds when we're talking about RuneScape and you're like, my insurance claim.
Yeah, I think it would be cool if there was, I mean, like more risk to it. Like if you were on, let's say, a world where when you die, you drop everything like permanently, then that would be cooler because then it's like you don't want to die, but it's not like if you die, you lose your character forever, like in hardcore. It'd be cool because it'd be like there's still risk, like you like lose a bill worth of stuff, but it's like insured, so you get some of it back.
You wouldn't get all of it back though, right?
Depends. Insurance works on things you insure. So you'd have to insure each individual item.
So then, I don't know. I don't see a situation in which you wouldn't be able to get your money back. So
Well, yeah.
it seems like it would just make people die all the time because they just be like, yeah, I'll just record it, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it would have to be because, like, for instance, in Tarkov, there's an insurance thing in Tarkov because in Tarkov,
Oh, there is.
yeah, there is.
Oh, okay.
Straight up.
I didn't know because they were like, is there any? And I was like, probably not.
No, not in any MMOs. Tarkov is technically not an MMO
A looter
because
shooter?
no, it's not a looter shooter either. It's what's it called, like a session based scavenging type of game.
okay.
So you don't actually have to kill anyone in that game technically, and there's only like up to like 12 people in a game at a time. So it's not MMO by any means, but it does have an insurance broker. It's the only game that I know of that has one. And for instance, you can insure all of your gear unless, like, for instance, you die and you're like, there's a really high chance people don't take this loot because it sucks or because it's really big and bulky or really heavy, then people might not insure it because of that. That being said, if you die and people don't take your stuff for whatever reason, like maybe someone kills you and then they get killed and no one finds your body and all your stuff is left there. The theme is that a scav, which is, a Russian scavenger, goes into the map, finds your stuff for you, brings it back, and gives it back to you.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
This sounds like a RuneScape 3 thing.
As long as someone hasn't looted your items that are insured, you'll get them back.
You know, whenever I used to play that game, whenever he first started and he'd say scav, I thought you were calling them scabs.
No.
I thought that for the longest time.
No. Yeah. So
Wait, sorry. And then I just remember talking to my sister about it. My older sister, she's 8 years old, does not play that much games, played Diablo 4 randomly. And I was talking to her about it, and she like brought it up to try to relate to me. And she was like, yeah, Escape from Tartar. Do you remember her saying that?
no, I don't.
I'm pretty sure the one that's name starts with a C.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
you're
pretty
talking
sure
about.
she called it Escape from Tartar.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
She's trying to relate.
But yeah, I think that's kind of a cool idea. I don't think it would really work in RuneScape because it's harder. It's easier to do in Tarkov, but even then, it is regularly abused in Tarkov.
It would be so abused in RuneScape.
For instance, in Tarkov, you're like, I killed someone. They have even half decent loot. I just take all my gear that I did insurance, and you literally do what people call insurance fraud, and you throw it into a place that is either unreachable or just like in a forest, and people aren't going to find it unless you're like streaming or something, and someone stream snipes you. So that happens all the time.
I was thinking, like, I don't know if it would be the same, but like Coliseum, now you have to pay $500K per failed attempt or whatever. And you could just keep getting reimbursed over and over again. So you never have to actually pay for it.
Maybe I could see it being used for only certain content. Like I said,
yeah,
it would
be
have
super
to be
abused.
It would have to be. That's why I said I could see it working for a type of account where everything gets lost on death. Because then it's like you have a reason to insure because you will lose it otherwise.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, would make sense.
I just don't see how it could work in RuneScape though. But it is a really interesting idea.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. But no, I've never seen any game that has an insurance type of thing.
Last question this week is from Harga on Discord.
Oh wait, sorry. Before we
Oh,
move
yeah,
on,
yeah.
I do think it would be legal because it is all
Oh yeah,
in-game money.
I think so as well. I think it'd just be one of those things that like maybe we side eye a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think any insurance person would do it just because they would get frauded, but I think it would be legal. Speaking of things that are technically legal,
Okay.
this reminds me of the race to world first that's happening in World of Warcraft right
Oh.
now. They kind of invented this and it became like a thing. Is every time there's a new raid that comes out in World of Warcraft, which is a really big patch or a really new expansion, they do a thing where they have the race to world first. You can probably go watch
I've
it.
heard you talk about this.
It gets tens of thousands, if not millions of views
Jesus.
over the course of its happening. And it's just to see which guild progresses the fastest to get the very first completion of the raid. There's a lot of
People taking time off work.
people taking time off work, doing this professionally, spending money.
Wow.
And for instance, each time this happens, guilds spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on legitimate, quote unquote, legitimate in-game gold to give them every advantage possible.
Interesting.
For instance, there's like ways to kind of funnel gear from other players onto your raid members. So what they do is if you go into their raid, just exist, get the kill, but just promise that any potential loot you get goes to them, they'll give you like 400k, which is like the equivalent 400,000 gold, which is like the equivalent of like 2 or 3 bill in RuneScape.
Oh, time to log into WoW if you guys play.
Okay. Maybe it's not 2 or 3 bill. Maybe it's like 1 bill.
Still, that's
It's a lot. It's a significant amount of money. Most people have never seen that much gold. But exactly, like you're not getting that much legitimate gold. So
I didn't know you could be that sneaky in WoW.
There's a lot of theory crafting that just goes around the economy of these events, let alone the event itself.
You saying theory crafting makes me miss leagues. It's so fun in leagues, like strategizing.
Yeah.
Anyway, next time there's leagues, maybe I just won't do the podcast that week so I could really grind it.
You heard that here. I didn't say it.
Okay, so yeah, last question from Harker. Would it be the most scandalous move in gaming history if OSRS got the following update? So upon death, a player is confronted with the option to pay real life money in order to get another life, kind of like an arcade game. So basically the player has 10 seconds to click a revive button, which will give them a new life with 99 hit points and start them exactly where they died. This applies to deaths including PvP and PvM. The money is extracted via a membership model that automatically extracts money from your bank account each time you activate the revive button in addition to your monthly membership fee. By the way, in gaming history is probably an exaggeration. I don't personally know bigger scandals. The Battlefront 2 loot box scandal, perhaps. I don't even know what that is.
The Battlefront.
Do you know what that is?
I don't think it was really scandalous per se.
Well, Harker doesn't know much scandals apparently.
I don't even think this would be considered a scandal. But because scandal is kind of like a sneaky thing, right? This would be put into the game and people would know about it. So I don't even think by nature this could be a scandal.
When I heard scandal, I thought of how that one of the OG composers for RuneScape was like arrested for
the original composer
like molesting someone.
Yeah, they molested a lot of people, not just one person.
I thought it was just I mean, gross. Wait, wasn't?
No, I think they were like a pedophile.
No, they were.
Yeah,
and it was like a family friend. I don't know. It just messed up.
Yeah,
this was a few years ago.
For anyone that doesn't know, the original composer for your beloved sea shanty is a child molester.
Yeah. Did he do sea shanty? Probably.
I think he did most of the original soundtracks.
We just need to redo them all so it's all Mod Ash. Personally, that's what I think.
But
we had different ideas of scandalous.
Also, before we jump into this, the revive button reminded me a lot of shout out to whoever recommended the Shangri-La anime. I am pretty much done with it now, and I thought it was pretty good.
Oh yeah, I forgot someone mentioned that.
Yeah, it's kind of like if anyone's seen Sword Art Online, it's like that but better because they're not trapped in the video game; they're just playing VR, and it's just a nerd that plays VR, and it's kind of cool.
That's cute.
But
should I watch it someday?
It's about an MMO. It's pretty chill.
I'd probably like it, huh?
I think it's generally likable by most humans. So yeah, probably.
And to catch up on my shows, I am caught up on Yellow Jackets. Actually, there's an episode tonight, but it's starting to annoy me. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah, because it sucks.
Well, no, because the first seasons are just like, wow, how did they get to this point? But it jumps back and forth between the past and the present. And right now, I just think the present's a little too drama-y.
It's a drama.
Yeah, but you'd expect that when they're stranded in the middle of nowhere. You wouldn't expect that with these grown women. I mean, they're all traumatized, I guess.
I was like, what?
But anyway, it's still good. But much like a lot of shows, I think, to be honest, first season was the best.
Okay.
I will say that.
Back to Harker's question. I don't think this would be the most scandalous thing in the gaming history.
I think people would be quitting over it, though. That's for sure.
I think people would quit way before this even came out. Before this was even accessible, I think the people
if it was announced.
If this was like even in the cards for happening, people would quit.
Yeah.
So I think by the time this actually came out, it wouldn't even be scandalous because everyone that thought it would be had already quit.
I would still play. I would just never do it. And I would definitely be like bitter watching people reset.
Yeah.
Because this is such a dramatic leap. But it kind of reminds me of like something I saw before. I'm gonna like totally mess up the saying, but it was like laws that you just pay fines are not laws for rich people. It's kind of the same thing. It's just like if you have a lot of money that you could spend on reviving yourself, you'll just never die in this game.
True.
So it's just kind of like unfair, really.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because you don't really imagine or think about how much money others are willing to spend in video games.
It's a lot.
For instance, in Black Desert Online, it's a Korean game, so obviously that should tell you some of what you need to know.
It sounded like you just meant like Koreans are more likely to, but their games are more gotcha.
They are.
Oh.
It's straight up, it is in the culture.
Oh, okay.
And so because of this, people were spending so much money and the game became so pay to win. There's actually an amount of money that is the maximum you can pay.
Wow. I'm surprised that they would do that.
And they had to implement a monthly maximum that you're allowed to pay this game so that you can buy. What you do is you buy costumes and you sell them on the marketplace for in-game money.
Oh.
So you can't directly buy the best items, but kind of, it's indirectly. Yeah. And so they had to implement, I don't remember how much it was. It was like $400 or something like that. But people would max it out every single month. You know, people every month. Kind of crazy. And there are people that obviously that's the legal way of getting money. In every game, there's a black market. And so, you know, there's plenty of stories of people that are whales, you know. Whales are people that spend, for anyone that doesn't know, spend a lot of money in video games.
I think we mentioned it earlier on this episode or last week. Whenever I was talking about that time, I felt like a whale at the beach because I was just being rolled around in the waves. Like
that, but you're rich.
Yes. Yeah. I wish.
And I mean, there's recorded interviews with people that have spent like over $20,000-$30,000 in Black Desert. It's not the only game like that. So it's like people would literally just never technically die if this was in the game.
Oh my god, can you imagine if they did that with hardcore?
Like if it was $2, even like Joes like us would be tempted if not just do it semi-regularly.
Every once in a while. Maybe if you're really close to getting Inferno for the first time, you'd be like, well.
Or if you're like, you're just 5 HP on a 500 Invo in TOA, why would you not? Like that saves you 45 minutes right there.
To add to the drama, I'm assuming also that doesn't count as a death. So if you're a hardcore, it would save your life.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
That would cause so many people to quit.
Yeah, so it's like
that's an interesting theoretical, kind of scary to think about.
I don't think it would be scandalous. I do think it would be probably one of the most controversial things to happen in gaming history. Yes. Probably not top 10, but it would be top 100 maybe.
Yeah, and top 10 within RuneScape.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Top like 1 in RuneScape.
Yeah. You know, outside of that guy that went to prison. But
well, that's a crime. We'll not count that.
Yeah. So I do think it would be up there with things that people hated for sure.
Thanks for the hateful idea. Appreciate it.
But yeah, I think those were pretty good questions. Thanks again for sending them in as always. And if you want to ask us questions, feel free to go to any of our socials or catch Michelle's stream. Yeah,
so Twitter and TikTok are Bunebapeosrs. Our Twitch, YouTube, Blue Sky, and Instagram are all Bunebape. I stream 4 days a week at twitch.tv/Bunebape. Currently, I'm just working on CAs. I don't really know what to do. Might get back into raiding again soon. So if you're interested in that or maybe like some Huey, come join me. And we could play games, and you can ask questions if you want, or discord.gg/Bunebape. You can always ask questions in there, post pictures of your pets if you have any. We have a pets channel, a tattoos channel, and we do movie nights every Saturday night if you want to come join.
Yeah.
Anyone's invited. We vote in the movie voting channel.
Yeah, so that's it. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. And if you did, then we'll see you all
Very soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.